works. I gotta bring up the chat, show an overlay. There we go. Alrighty, so we got the chat working. Hopefully all of this is working. We shall see. Let me see. I got people joining. We got a bunch of people joining tonight. What's up, Jace? Give me 1 second here. Click the link. Testing. All right, so you see us on YouTube, okay? Guys, please ignore the fucked up tooth. I'm getting that fixed tomorrow. Chip my damn tooth. What's up, everybody? Trixie, IQN, D the B. What's up, Kayla? What's up, Joshua? What's up, everybody? I'm just waiting for the other guests to join. We got a bunch of guests coming in tonight. We're going to be doing, you guys can hear me just fine, right? Oh, there she is.
I think I'm here. Well, this is new.
I can hear you. Is your sound on?
I think so. You can't hear me?
Hold on a second. Let me change the audio here. Hold on 1 second. Let me make sure I can. You see audio. I don't have an audio output. Okay, give me a second. Give me 1 second. So I want to have it come out of the speakers. Okay, so how about now?
Am I here?
No.
Can you hear me now?
Try.
Okay, I think the chat can hear me. Right, guys?
What about now?
Can you hear me now?
Try talking. I can hear you now. Sweet.
Awesome.
What is up, Miss Logic?
Oh, just living the crazy election season. So.
Hold on, wait. Let me see if live in the what?
Crazy election season.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's been a very interesting so far.
I know. Have you heard about the Rescue the Republic event next weekend?
Hold on 1 second. Do me a favor and keep talking because I got to try to fix this.
Okay. All right. At least the chat can hear me. So that's good news. I apparently did this right. I've never been on this platform. So this is new.
Are you still talking?
Yeah.
For some reason, I just got bad audio. It's my audio hearing it. It's not on you. Hey, okay. Everybody, you can hear her just fine, right?
Am I too quiet? I'm just using my phone audio tonight. So
no. It's my sound. I think I may need to plug in headphones, but I want to make sure they can all hear you. All right, so chat can hear you. That's what's important.
Okay, perfect.
My audio sucks, but that's I got to download new drivers. Who we got here? We got JR coming in as well. What's up,
man?
JR?
How you guys doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Hanging out. Sunday.
Absolutely. It's, I got to watch the Eagles win. I'm watching, Cowboys get their asses stomped right now.
The Broncos finally won, so that was good.
Who did?
The Broncos.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Broncos. Who did you beat? You beat the Bucks, right?
Yeah.
Good. We play them next week, so hopefully they're really upset and sad and keep wanting to lose.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm. All right, so hold on a second. So I gotta look. Where did you get this cool ass sign behind you, Logic?
Oh, my husband got it for me for Christmas. I think it's from Amazon.
He don't have to tell you. Like, just have him shoot me a DM so I know where the hell he got that. Because I love me some me, so I'd love to put a sign behind me.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll get you a link.
Awesome. So we have a few more people. So I know Ban Beard's coming in. We might have SK. We might have Conservative Flash. I haven't gotten word from Austin yet.
I told Goon, I don't know if you know who that is. And then Anthony Court, I did invite him as well.
Awesome. Hold on, wait. We got here. We got the Ban Beard coming in. So there's Beard. Now, just so you guys know, if you turn your camera sideways, you'll get the full thing, but you'll lose the chat. So it's up to you if you want to be able to see the chat. Now, what I'm going to be doing is, as people are asking questions, I'll be doing this. Like, let me see this real quick. I'll be doing this, where I'll pop the question up on the screen.
Oh, I can
Can you
still see the
guys
chat.
now? Can you guys see when I pop the chat when I pop the chat up on the screen?
Yeah.
When I put my glasses on, because I'm old as fuck. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's your fault for being 60.
I
By
need
the
to
way,
get
for all you people saying the Eagles suck, I know they do, but we still won.
And the Cowboys are getting curb stomped right now by Dallas or by Baltimore.
I love it. It's a lovely, lovely day to watch the
Yeah.
Cowboys get their shits pushed in.
Wait a minute. This is a pro vaping stream. I love it.
Oh yeah, we're on YouTube, Twitch, and X. Dude. You can say whatever you want. You can
Yeah.
vape. You could sit. I could sit here and talk about the fact that this cup has whiskey in it, and I'm drinking it in front of everyone. Fuck you, TikTok.
I mean, that's a plus.
YouTube kind of went full circle though, because back 2-3 years ago, they deplatformed like everybody. I had my one buddy Zach had like 1 million followers, and just boom, gone. One day, no warning, gone.
Hey, did you see this comment, Logic? Where'd it go?
What?
There you go. There it is.
I missed it.
You see it? It's up on screen right now.
Oh, ha! Yeah, I'm gonna try, guys. I'll do my best. But yeah,
But
so
yeah,
I'm
so
gonna
we
be.
have.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm gonna be in DC next weekend for the Rescue the Republic rally.
Okay.
So I'll be
Now
covering
wait.
that.
What's going on at the Rescue the Republic rally?
So you're gonna have Jordan Peterson, Charlie Kirk, Russell Brand, RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, Brett Weinstein, Dr. Malone. So it'll be a rally 12 to 7. You can go to jointheresistance.org for more information.
Wow.
That sounds
Yeah.
cool.
Pretty good lineup.
Hell yeah.
Hi, Nate.
Welcome, Nate.
What's up, guys?
I'm going to close my
What's
blinds.
up?
Hold up. It's bright.
Go. I'm just keeping an eye on all the invites because we invited a bunch of people, and I just want to bring them in as they come in. We can have up to 11 on here.
Cool.
Sounds good.
And guys, just so you know, we do this in the future. So right now we're just doing it through Restream. But when we do this in the future, what'll happen is there'll be an intro, there'll be graphics, there'll be all that stuff. But I just got my streaming computer fixed, so it's like I'm still building it all.
Yeah, I figured, I don't know, going into election season, I think there's just a lot of misinformation. And if we can kind of armor conservatives or people who are going to be voting red with more information and facts that they could spit back at the left's misinformation, I think it could be helpful. And just also to gain kind of a sense of community, hopefully, which I think has been
Are
brewing.
you saying there's misinformation out there? No way.
A little bit. Just a
Never.
little bit.
There's no way. No misinformation here. I mean, the media here is they're the people we need to listen to.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ish.
Let's see here. All right. So we'll probably have more people coming in, but so let's see how we want to start this off. So I know we have, like I said, we'll have a few more people coming in, but so let's start this off, I guess. So if you guys could do me a favor and just introduce yourself and tell people a little bit about yourself, because like not everybody on this, you got to understand, we're on Twitch, YouTube, and X right now. So there may not be a lot of people that know your platform. So please plug your, well, that sounds dirty, but plug yourselves and tell us about yourselves. We'll go ladies first.
All right. I am Logic and Liberty on TikTok, on X. I'm Logic and Liberty, but the E in Liberty is a 3. And I've been a political content creator for several years now. Started out, jumped in with COVID and all the nonsense and shenanigans that the government was trying to pull with that, and have been trying to just harness civil discourse around politics and get information in the hands of the people ever since. And so I thought this would be a good opportunity for y'all to get some of your creators, and we can kind of also expose each other's audiences to each other and have some good conversations where I feel like, again, on TikTok, it can get censored quite often, or we're all kind of doing our own thing over there. But I just wanted one central place that people could come to and hopefully get some good information and good discussions.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, JR, what about you?
So my name is J.R. Majewski. I am a former congressional candidate in Ohio, Trump endorsed. I'm also a Trump surrogate. And Let's see, I spent 20 years in the nuclear power industry. I still work in the nuclear power industry now, but yeah, I'm just on social media trying to fight back the narrative. It's something I've been doing for a couple of years, and um, we have to win this election. It's one of the, we always say this election's important. This election's important, but I think this year and this cycle, it's something we don't have to say. It's clearly evident. So that's it.
Ouch. There's a chihuahua starting to fight. Sorry. All right. So, all right. Awesome. Now go ahead, Beard. What about yourself?
On TikTok, I'm the Band Beard 5. I have a X account, but I haven't used it yet.
Wait a second. Why are you the Band Beard 5? Why aren't you just the Band Beard?
I'm the Band Beard 5 because this is my 32nd account. I've never had an account last longer than 6 months. TikTok loves to censor me, and it's actually gotten comical to the point where the censorship is literally for nonsense. I got a strike yesterday for posting on Conservative Ant's video he did where Oprah was interviewing Kamala, and all I simply said was, Oprah is doing a great job making it look like Kamala is saying something relevant, and I got a strike for that. So,
well, I mean, that's obviously a community guideline violation.
Yeah. So right now it's the Band Beard 5. I will probably stay with this name since it's resonated, and it just depends on who's copied the account as to whether I'd be a 6 or a 7 for the next time. I got onto TikTok about 2.5 years ago, simply because my daughter told me not to. I'm a dude that loves politics. I love to read. I love data. And so I'm like you guys, I got on here just to talk politics.
And just so you guys know, it's he's definitely higher than a 5 in my book. I'll say that.
I'm gonna keep my shirt on though.
Hold on a second. So wait 1 second. So I'm looking for the rest of the people. There's people hidden in here, which they shouldn't be. I don't know why SK isn't coming up. SK, what's up? Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. I'm just trying to see why SK isn't coming up. SK left. Okay, that makes sense. I was just trying to figure out why SK wasn't in here yet. So, okay. But all right, so let's go on to Nate.
Hey guys, yeah, my name's Nate. I've been on TikTok for, I don't know, I'd say about 3-4 years now. This is my 68th account. That's why there's a 4 next to my name. My name's changed a little bit over the times. I'm an individual that likes to get deep into policy and bills and break them down for most people on TikTok. That's basically what me and my buddy do. And we're going to be creating a podcast around it, which we will be launching in October, just helping the American people understand the legal jargon in the bills that a lot of people either don't even know about, or they just don't know how to understand it. Because a lot of times I find that people really just don't understand how our government even operates. So that's what I built my platform on. I'm on IG, I'm on Facebook, I'm not on X, and I'm building out a YouTube. So you'll pretty much find my name right here, Nate Big 4 or Nate Big B Politics on IG. So I just want to help people understand from a centrist standpoint where I am, that both sides obviously have issues, but trying to find the understanding in the language of what they're doing in Congress and in the White House, and just bring forth the truth to them and let them make a decision from there.
All right. And Anthony, what about you?
Hey, what's up, OM? I recognize all of you guys from the TikTok, and you guys have all been a huge inspiration on my content. My background, I come from the transportation industry, which kind of activated me to start doing content because of the overregulation my industry was dealing with. It started off based around that, but then sort of segued into politics because I've done a lot of independent journalism before doing any content. So just segued into that. And beyond that, I'm a former Democrat that kind of wrote on being a little libertarian for a while, but then joined the Republican side of things. So I think that a lot of my content was originally angled at people that lost touch with what the Democratic Party used to stand for, right? And I think that there's a lot of that going on, and we see a lot of that going on TikTok, right? And I think it's important to embrace those people because I was once that person, and I think that using this app to reach out to a lot of people, especially I would say not just millennials but younger, but Gen Z, is important to make them realize that a lot of these politicians that make these promises don't follow through and sell you up the river, and that's what we're seeing right now.
No, I mean, I'm with you on that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, it's Anthony. My first account is still up somehow. I don't know why, but they banned my live for like about a month at one time. I have one backup channel, but I'm mainly on TikTok. I'm on YouTube and on Instagram.
Let me give a recommendation, just as somebody who's been on this, not this platform, but somebody who's been on that fucking Chinese platform for a while. Here's what you do, guys. Like, immediately create 5 backup accounts, create in your videos, tell people to go follow them, get them to at least 1,000 so you can convert to them when bad shit happens. Don't leave it until your shit is banned to create a backup platform. Like, I know I've seen all of your videos, and with the exception of Logic, we all say shit that's going to get us banned. Logic says it in like a nice way. She goes on there and she's like, look, I'm going to be very sweet about this. You're all fucking stupid, right? And she tells people they're fucking stupid, but she says it in a really nice way. And this is a big band of assholes and Mother Dearest here that tells us not to do that. So, like even SK, which I'm going to get to in a second here, even SK comes at people like assholes now that SK has started making content. Right. SK just used to shit on people on lives, but now they're starting to make. Even though SK got me banned last night because she brought on an asshole, but it's fine. It's fine. I forgive her. But yeah, I mean, I totally get that. And you're lucky you're on your first account, but definitely create some backups because I guarantee you, the closer we get to the election, the less you're going to be able to say.
Oh, and I've already experienced that. I'm going to let you carry on, but I waited to make my backup account. It's up to like 3K, and I'm able to go live on that. But I've experienced my first actual live ban in a while, and right before the election, of course. So you're definitely right on that. And anybody just getting their feet wet does need to make multiple backup accounts.
I usually catch a ban if Joe and I are on lives together.
Yeah, because
I've had my main for 4 years. I don't want to jinx it, but like.
Well, no, but the best part is I say fucked up shit. And they ban him,
and I get banned
spectacular because they think I'm him, which is spectacular. But all right, so SK, you there?
Maybe, I don't know. I can't get my camera to work. I have no idea what's going on.
It's all good. It's all good. You don't have to turn your camera on. Just introduce yourself. Tell us about you. Plug yourself, not in an OnlyFans way, but plug yourself.
It's not that kind of website. I do TikTok lives and just started creating content recently. I kind of got pushed into it by Patriot Dad, actually. And yeah, that's about it on TikTok, SK Double Dub. I have 2 accounts that I use, this one and the SK Double Dub 33.
And since SK is not going to tell you, she does a really good job of getting into court records, things like Trump's trials and Trump's cases, and actually reading every single page of every single document so that, what you're being told by the news, she's going to actually say, okay, well, this is what's completely in it. Kind of what I used to do during COVID, to where when Jen Psaki would cite a report, I would actually post the report and say, well, here's what was conveniently left out of the report, except that type of shit gets taken down. So that's where SK is really good and really strong, is just the amount of reading into those documents and reading into those cases that she actually does.
Yeah,
right.
And congressional reports a lot too.
By the way, Anthony, I just want you to know you don't have to do this, but if you turn your phone sideways, you'll get the full screen deal.
Oh.
And if you see me laying down, it's not I'm being
casual. You got to turn off the
really
screen unlock thing. We're getting into like boomer level of like. There we go.
I feel
I thought we were gonna have to.
I seriously feel 100 years old right now. I can't figure out. I've been to my settings. I've been everywhere trying to figure out how to get my camera to work on here, and I can't figure it out.
Hey, my favorite one was when Joe and I did a live with Matt Kim. And Matt Kim couldn't figure out how to do absolutely anything technologically. And we thought, God, you were just embarrassing the Asian community.
He really was. He was like an Asian, in 1947. but he still has an amazing studio. And like I'm jealous of some of y'all's setups, by the way. I'm not jealous of Beard's, his sucks. I'm jealous, and I realize Anthony.
My office.
And I realize Anthony is set up to have all kinds of wild shit going on behind him with that green screen. But like Logic has like
it's not the Diddy kind of stuff, bro. It ain't the Diddy stuff that Nate's into.
But Logic is in like a bamboo studio,
right?
Well, no, this is wood.
I've seen people make huts in the middle of jungles out of that shit. So like, and then I look at JR, and JR's inducing seizures. So like, you know, I was like, y'all are doing some shit, and like Nate's got his kid's artwork behind him. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, that's what it is.
No. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
that's what I figured.
They come in here and put
artwork.
Yeah, they come in here and put the art on the wall all the time without me knowing.
There you go. That's no. But here's the thing. The best part is this is what's cool about conservatives is like when you bring a bunch of liberals together, it is lockstep. Everybody looks the same. Everybody thinks the same. Everybody has the same stuff going on. Everybody is trying to be in lockstep with each other because they want to be a part of the group. Whereas every one of us is individually different. We probably all of us have different issues when it comes to this election. Like the reason I'm voting for Trump is not the same reason as Logic is, not the same reason JR or Beard or Nate or Anthony or SK is. Like we all have different reasons. And the only unifying thing about us is we're not fucking retarded, right? Like that's what makes us. Oh no, this is YouTube, Twitch, and X. I could say that.
And look, I have a daughter with Down syndrome, and it does not bother me a bit because he's not attacking my daughter. It's
no. Here's the thing: how
many times are we going to say pew pew on here when we could say?
I'm not talking about, but again, I'm not talking about an actual disability. I'm talking about people who vote Democrat. That's when I say retarded. I mean my AR and put it in the background.
I suddenly have the urge to say like every cuss word that exists because you can't say it on TikTok.
I will say, I think I'm the last one who was like, yep, I'll vote Trump. Because I think I just decided that a few weeks ago and committed to it. So.
Right. Logic.
I was never voting Kamala. I was never voting Kamala, so don't put that on me. That was never.
Yeah, I think last I checked on you, Logic, you were talking about Chase Oliver, and I was surprised to see you come to the right side.
Well, I do like RFK because I do believe that like overall the health in our country is horrendous and it needs to be addressed and something needs to be done with the 3-letter agencies. Yes. And so I like a lot of what RFK says. I don't love everything, obviously. So the fact that Trump is bringing on RFK and Elon Musk is huge for me. So that's what won me over. Again, Trump personally, like just some of the stuff he says, I'm like, dude, you really don't help your case in so many situations. Like, shut up, just shut up sometimes. So I have my reasons for voting for him, but it's not because like he's a dude that I want to go grab a beer with.
There are some times where Trump could be served by shutting the fuck up.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think all of us have that
he's not as bad as he was before.
But JR, so like you've met him in person, you've worked with him. So like, let me ask you, this is going to be an aggressive question, but does Trump have the ability to shut the fuck up?
Yeah, of course he does. I mean, when you meet him in person, he's very he's a listener. And you know, I think he cut his teeth in the service organization, right, with his hotels and you know, the Trump line. I think one of the biggest things and one of the biggest challenges with him is he's not the kind of guy that sits on his hands. And so if you say something about him, he's going to come back at you. And I think what you're seeing this election cycle, when he's been made cognizant of, whether it's by force or just through his own cognizance, is just, you know, there's certain things that he should chase and there's certain things that he shouldn't. And, you know, you've really only heard him strike back when they talk about things that are very, very personal to him, like the rallies, right? The rallies are personal. He puts a lot of time and effort. He choreographed every rally is choreographed by him, right? There's a template. In order to change, if you want to change a song, right, it has to get approved by him. I mean, as ridiculous as that may sound, there's only a few things that he. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask real quick? So you said it has to get approved by him.
Yeah.
So are there people who approve things for him, or is it him?
I mean, he delegates, you know, certain things to certain people in his staff. Absolutely. I think honestly, I think that's that's somewhat of a benefit, but also it's been detrimental, right? Because you know, he's had some people around him that I think he acknowledges shouldn't have been.
And
there are certainly
real quick, young Jeffrey, Bro, click the bro, young Jeffrey. Jeffrey, did I send? Oh, Anthony's got your shirt on. Jeffrey, did I send you the guest link? Do you have the guest link? If I
Oh.
didn't send you the guest link, let me know. In fact, Jeffrey, just DM me on my main account. DM me your phone number, and I will shoot you the guest link so you can come join in the talk. But go ahead, Jr. I'm sorry.
No, I think he's had people around him that have been detrimental. And you know, when you operate in an orbit like he does, and you have, you know, so much going on, so many different people, and you have his personality where I mean, Trump's personality trait, I guess, is the most negative one. If you were to look at it from a psychological perspective, is that he wants people to like him, and that's a negative. I kind of have the same personality trait, and I know other people that do. And you know, it's okay not to like him. It's okay with him if you don't like him. But what's not okay is if you don't like him based on something that's not true. And
Well,
that's
let me
why
Well,
he
that's what
took.
I hear. Oh, go ahead, Logic. I'm sorry.
Because I think honestly, and this is probably a disservice, and I'm probably even a victim of this. I do think you see very limited, but you see these soft moments of Trump, right? Where he's like giving a present to a child with a chronic disease.
Yeah,
He's
that was my
reaching
friend.
out in the
That was my buddy
community.
Kevin's nephew.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
giving opportunities to individuals who desperately need them. Like there's certain things that Trump does that we just don't get to see. And so I think there has been a level of disservice there where I don't believe we as the American public are getting his full character and his full personality. I
That's
think we're
his
getting
character.
yeah, but
That's
I think we're
who.
getting like the showman Trump, right? The showman Trump that's like bigger than life and again can fire back. And so it's interesting that there's this, I don't know, this presentation of him that I don't think we're getting the full story as the American public unless you know him personally.
Well, and the thing is that
Exactly.
what
You're
kind of
right.
sticks out to me is if you look and you could see that at the RNC, right? When his kids speak, when his granddaughter speaks, especially when they showed him when his granddaughter
Oh, when
was.
his
I have
granddaughter
a
spoke,
granddaughter.
it got me.
Yeah, I have a granddaughter, right? So when I saw him and his reaction to his granddaughter, that's the type of shit I love to see. You can't say that. Where are Biden's kids when he was speaking? Where are Kamala's kids when she's speaking? Where are Hillary's kids when she's speaking? Other than Chelsea saying that she wishes her grandmother could have had an abortion, which we all wished. But to me, that speaks to a character that the left just refuses to even entertain.
So I'll give you two quick examples of something that will maybe
Jeffrey, turn your phone.
give you another perspective, right? So, so number one, what you're saying, Logic, is absolutely true. That's the real Trump, right? So if you're around him, which I've been many a times, if you're at Mar-a-Lago or wherever in his presence, he's always going to ask you, "How are you? How are you feeling? What's this? You know, how's this? How's that?" I mean, always, and he listens and he acts upon what he hears. He's very quick, very quick thinker, very astute. But at the end of the day, he has a passion and a drive to please people. I could give you personal stories where I've seen him do things kind of like, signing the hats. He has signed so many hats for me to give to people in my district. He's allowed me to bring, when I was running for Congress, even now, if there's a rally around here, I could call and they'd give me tickets to go to the rally, and I could bring anybody I want. I've taken young folks that, Gen Z kids to meet him backstage, signs the hat, gives them shirts, loves them, hugs them, takes pictures. And, by the way, he charges about $50,000 to take a photo with him. Right. So, and does all that stuff just because. Now, let me kind of go back. So consider this when you think of, the defensive, the masculine Trump, the fire breather Trump. So, go back to 2019, 2020. He's standing on the stage with Joe Biden. Now, we all know, some of us knew then, but we all know now what was on a laptop that was put out publicly, or was being kind of dampened, right? So Trump has known about that laptop way before the public, and so I give him so much. I love the guy. Okay, he's done things for me personally. I walk through glass for the guy, but the fact that he stood on stage with Joe Biden, knowing that Joe Biden's son had a laptop out there that was getting ready to come to the public, that was being hindered, the contents were being hindered by the media, and this guy, his son, was doing things, illegal things with minors, right? And the fact that Donald Trump stood on stage with him, number one, didn't talk about it, but number two, didn't punch him in the face, to me, defines his character. because I don't have children. I can't have them, unfortunately. But you know, I'm one of the best uncles in the world. But the fact that that man stood there knowing what this other man's kid has done and knew that Joe Biden was actively covering it up. The fact that there wasn't like a fight of grandpas on that stage blows my mind. Knowing Trump the way I know him, I give him tons of credit for that. Tons of
And
credit.
it's funny because you brought that up I one of my videos that was banned for was talking about the contents of the laptop, and I was very clear to use the word allegedly. But contents within that laptop had him allegedly with underage girls.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I heard Trump talked to. So I went to the preview of the national preview of Sound of Freedom at Bedminster, and he gave a kind of a candid speech about the laptop, and it rolled it into the movie. And some of the things that he said about what he had heard and what he knew, it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing is that most of us are only introduced to the stage Trump. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because let's be real, when it comes to most candidates, that's all we're ever introduced to, right? Like nobody here, like Harry will tell you that he knows Obama and Biden personally. All that means is that he met them at the White House one day and they told him, "Don't fuck this up." Right? Like that's really all it was. They let him
Listen
in
to
the
your
room.
agent, kid. Listen to your agent.
Hey,
That's
and how did that go for him?
The script.
Like Harry thinks he knows somebody well if he got in the room with them and got a boner over it, right? So,
Oh wow.
but I mean that's really all it is. Like he got a scripted thing to say, and like we've seen that with interviews he's done with people like Shapiro and stuff like that, where we know it was all scripted, and not many of us, unlike like JR's had the benefit of being able to know Trump personally, and it's like, and the thing is that experience gives you a different view on somebody when you know somebody for who they are. Like, I got, like, for example, people that know me personally, know me in real life. They like, I'm a very chill person in real life. Online, I am a rabid bulldog asshole. And that's the character I play. But it's like, and he, I look at Trump and obviously, I won't say he's playing a character, but he's being an exaggerated version for the camera because that's what being in politics demands. It demands that you are larger than life and
Well, he
you
was
are
like that
louder than
before.
life.
Yeah,
So-
I think he's genuine, and we got to blame the establishment media for how they paint him, playing clips. We got people like Harry Sisson playing clips of him saying something that could be taken out of context, so that he hasn't been given a fair representation, and we all know that.
And that's the one thing that pisses him off, right? That's the, and if you consider the last debate, Kamala's coming out of the gate. She was trying to piss him off. She was trying to get him off strategy and get him to react with emotion. Because look, the guy spent 50 years in New York, building and working with the mob, working with the unions, the other faction of the mob, and he he was very successful. But he was successful because he had a social acumen where he was able to navigate those things, and everybody loved him. And then all of a sudden he runs for president, and in his mind he's doing this because he loves the country and he's willing to sacrifice a whole bunch of things. And when he gets treated the way he's been treated by somebody like Oprah, who has always been his friend, it pisses him off, and he doesn't know how to just rise above it. But at the end of the day, there's many people that kind of think, he could be, better off shutting up. And I don't disagree with that, but he's built the following that he has by being the guy that says, fuck you.
Now, wait. So wait, I have to say this because this is coming up in the chat a lot. Is that speech by Kamala? She was fucking drunk.
Yeah.
I
look
have
like
heard whisperings from X and other places that there is a drinking problem there, like a significant drinking problem there. It's allegedly, I don't know. I haven't confirmed.
She has a problem with a medication that begins
But I
with the letter
gotta, like,
X.
let's be real. Like, here's the thing. I'm drunk a lot. So as TikTok famously loves to talk about, because I have to stay sober for my real job, and then I get drunk for fucking TikTok. But like I watched that speech, and I'm gonna be honest with you. If that had been a friend of mine talking to a girl, not to the fucking media, not to the world, if that had been a friend of mine talking to a girl, I would have grabbed him and been like, "Hey, buddy, come on over here." because what she was saying, she was very obvious. I don't know if it's alcohol, I don't know if it's drugs, I don't know if it's pills, but
Xanax.
she was very obviously fucked up.
Xanax.
She has a Xanax
I
problem.
could see that Xanax bar with them drinking for sure. The way
But
she's
that
talking.
shows,
Yeah.
that shows how disingenuous the media is, right? I mean, if that would have been Trump or JD Vance or any conservative, they would have lit that fucking person up like a Roman candle. But because it's Kamala, we're just gonna not even, it's not even gonna be brought up into a discussion. And
They would
I
have
think
published their
that's the
medical
thing
records.
that's the thing that pisses me off the most, because it's weird seeing CNN be a little bit honest lately, right? With the fact checking that they've done on Kamala, with the videos that they've pulled up that are, hey, you're saying one thing now versus what you said from the other. But dude, if we could just get an old 1980s CNN to where they just told you the fucking stories, and because that would have been a story, they would have posted it and they would have said, she was acting out of character, and then you could decide what it is. It used to be just the presentation of the points, and then you as an individual could take every one of those collective points and formulate your own opinion. But it's now to the point where they want to narrate what your opinion is supposed to be. And that's
real journalism, Beard. They don't want real journalism.
So
Now,
the
I
thing
do
is,
have to
though-
point out real quick.
thing.
I'm going to show this here just so Jeffrey can see it. And I think it's important that he sees this.
I keep hitting
You see
the
the chat
wrong.
on screen?
I keep hitting the wrong fucking button.
It says if he doesn't gasp, I don't even know what life is about.
Got his shirt on right now.
So Jeffrey, we're gonna need a gasp before we move on.
All right, fair enough. Hold on, let me fall in the character here.
You could time it perfectly, whatever you need to.
There we go. Now we're good because
I-
Camel's getting her ass
Yeah.
kicked.
The next 20 fucking minutes.
I've never heard
It's
this
official.
cast. So
people
Hey.
in the chat were trying to figure out their lives without that.
Fantastic.
Young Jeffrey, I was just shooting that first video with that gear I got. Right.
Yeah, I
Well,
responded on your
Yeah.
video that you did about Tie Hot with Joe, and I
Mhm.
pointed out that both
And
you
by the
guys
way, I
are
do
white,
want to
so
point out,
any
just so
fucking
everyone
spice is
can,
hot to y'all.
wait, just so everyone can see this chat. Just so everyone can see this chat. And Jeffrey might not be able to see it, but I just want to say.
No, that's
That's funny.
So Jeffrey, it says, and there we go. I'm erect and ready to do this.
well. I mean, I feel like that's the most appropriate response to a gasp
Right.
is to be fully erect.
oh my
that
God.
gives
Okay.
the gas
All
warning
right,
a whole
all
new
right.
meaning.
I can't.
All right. So
There are hey, guys, there's ladies in the room. Come on.
sorry, what? Go ahead.
Well,
Go
you
ahead,
can't
SK. What
tell
were you
because I
saying?
can't figure out how to get my camera to work or how to do any of these things. So I'm just kind of.
Did you try? So when you first joined, I think like the app or the website asks you if you can allow access to your camera. Did you
Right.
get that prompt?
Yes, and it even told me like then I clicked the thing and it says okay if you're using all these different browsers you have to go into your settings and click this and click that. I did all of those things and it's still
SK,
not
it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing as fuck that an old dude like me can figure it out and you can't.
working.
Are you on your
You
phone or
must-
your laptop?
I'm on my phone. Should I get on my should I
I'm
get
on my phone, as you can see with
I'm
all
on
the
my
movement.
I was able to just click the camera button and it worked. The little next to the microphone.
I wonder if it's because I'm like click the link like through an app and then you know what I mean, like it's through an app.
Oh, so SK, if you do me a favor and just DM me your number, I'll send it directly to you through text.
Okay, I'll do
All right.
that.
All right.
So I do, but just because we have a little gap, I want to chat a little bit about economic policy because it's an interesting topic, and what I'd like to hear from all of the panel is like one positive of Trump's tax or economic policies and something you don't like or disagree with about his economic policies, and then Kamala, we can kind of break down the train wreck that a lot of that is, because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding as well as far as what she's trying to do, like this $25,000 housing credit for first-time homebuyers. Well, not necessarily. It's also just for first-generation first-time homebuyers or people whose parents don't own a home. And then the unrealized capital gains tax and what a disaster that could be. So I'd love to hear you guys. I know there's a lot of smarter people on this panel than me that I would love to just get your guys' insight on what you think. And there's some things that I don't love the huge leaning on tariffs. I think in general, I'd like to see presidential candidates talk more about, like, instead of figuring out ways to get more money in the government's pocket, let's figure out ways to get them more responsible with the money they already have. I'm not going to be convinced that we need to be getting them more money. I understand we have a deficit, but until they start spending it responsibly, why is our go-to like tax the rich, pay their fair share, I don't know. I would like to see a shift in that conversation, I guess.
Yeah,
Overall.
I agree. I think the economic policy has to start with, first and foremost, it has to start with spending, right? I mean, my wife can sit there and tell me that she got a raise to the tip that she makes as a wage, and I'd be like, great, but how much you right? Because we got to a point when we were younger and we were in really financial trouble because of my daughter's medical bills and all that kind of stuff, that I would always tell her that if you're going to buy something, like let's say a subscription to the satellite, and it's $100 a month, okay, show me where you've cut $100 a month in order to justify that $100 a month, right? And the fact that we bring in the revenues that we bring in as a country, but yet we have all of these financial problems. And I've yet to really, even Trump, I have yet to hear. I like what he's saying about taxes. I like what he's saying about the different wages and where to tax and overtimes and things like that. Those are all great. But if you really want to get to the crux of the problem, unless I hear him talking about shutting down the spending, I mean, shut it down, not, oh, let's cut it back. Shut it down. Anything going out to the United States needs to go through an approval process. We need to go through these line item approval processes, not just slap shit into a bill and do whatever. I think first and foremost, which I haven't heard enough of from either one of them, is I want to know how they're going to address the spending.
I think the biggest challenge is that the Congress, right? You have Mike Johnson, who was supposed to be, Mike Johnson was supposed to come in and be the second coming of like a Reagan type Republican, but really, he's been circumvented because he kept all of Kevin McCarthy's staff. And so Kevin McCarthy's staff, I mean, the staff in DC runs the show. These members have no fucking clue what they're doing. And, there's a lot of things to be said, but, just to answer the question. So what I like out of Trump the most is the fact that he understands the distinct fundamental correlation between energy production, distribution, and consumption, and how it correlates so strongly and actually drives the economy more than anything else, right? When you look at inflation, you can never find a circumstance where energy prices going up and down hasn't, correlated very distinctly with energy. And the fact that he's out there talking about energy policy right now. I'm actually providing them information on nuclear power and how we could expand, how we're totally dependent on Russia and France for uranium. We have enough uranium right now to last us maybe one more fuel cycle with nuclear power plants, which provides our baseload. So Russia could shut that down at any moment, and we'd probably have a year of, being able to sustain our baseload, because we couldn't get fossil plants up quick enough. We couldn't get anything online quick enough that would sustain it. And we're talking rolling blackouts like that happened in California, all over the U.S. And,
yeah, but luckily Trump works for Russia, right? So we're good. So it's no big deal. Trump works for Russia. Putin's his homeboy, so we're all good on that.
They're high-fiving in the background and putting all that uranium money in their pocket, right?
So what I wanted to do is, so Joelle is a new guest here. She just came on. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to throw her directly in the fire with Logic's question, because it's a great question. Like, Logic brought up an amazing topic. It's a great question. And Joelle, the thing for Joelle is Joelle is extremely educated. And also she's coming from California. When we're talking about those rolling blackouts, like most of us try to avoid living in the land of misery. She's living there. Right. So,
me
so
too.
the benefit is like, so Logic, if you could you re-ask that question? Because I'd love to hear it from somebody on the West Coast as well.
Like the economic policy one, or like just overall?
Which one you want to throw at?
It's like a two-phase question. I'll ask the economic policy one. So what are some things, so what's one thing that you like about Trump's tax plan or economic policies? What's one thing that you like see as a weakness? And then later we'll go into Kamala's and kind of break down the disaster that could be there. But I'm curious, if you see any weaknesses in his economic policy, maybe you talk about that, or something that you particularly like and think would be effective.
I have not dived super deep into his tax policies, But as a business owner, I have realized that when I do interior design, we do development, we build. And prior to him coming into office, we worked a lot overseas and it was cheaper for us. But once he implemented that extra tax on China, it made a lot of people pivot and start producing more locally, which in return made business turn around much quicker because we didn't need to wait for the turnaround, even though it was slightly more expensive. It was a huge benefit to us in our business, the laws that he was implementing, particularly on imports.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's just something that I don't think people and even creators, conservative side of TikTok don't speak enough about, is that is one of the intended outcomes of the tariffs, right? Is to bring more business and production back here to the States. And I just think there's a level. I think when he was at the debate, he stumbled a little bit, in my opinion, focusing too much on the tariffs, where it seemed like that was the majority of his economic plan, where I think he should have and could have highlighted like the tax cuts, how that benefited American families, middle class directly, how we need to extend those. So I did see kind of a weakness.
But can I say this? So I think one thing I saw about Trump when he talks about tariffs and stuff, right? The reason I like it so much is because to me, he's addressing the disease, not the symptoms, right? So when you talk about there being not enough money for this or not enough money for this, or this is lacking or things like, these are all symptoms of a problem. The problem being that our government spends at such an outrageous rate that we are racking up deficits that are just, we're never going to pay them back, right? It's just not possible, not fiscally possible. Whereas, like, because people say, oh, running the country on tariffs is insane. It's like, okay, well, I just want you to know that insanity is how we ran the country for 180 years. Like, we ran it on just tariffs. Like, and the only reason we can't do that now is because of the massive size of federal government, right? Where we have so many expenditures before we even get to the people. Like, we're in a spending deficit before we even get to things that serve the people. Like, our deficit is just us spending on the people. The rest of it, that we waste our entire budget on managing federal size of government. Whereas, and that's one thing that bought me into Vivek really hard, where he was like, I'm going to fire 75% of the government. I was like, yo, you're talking dirty to me right now. Like, it was like, look, he could have put that video on the hub. It was wild. It was such a good video, right? But that was my point, was that when he talks about managing things from tariffs, the only way that's possible is a massive layoff of government employees, which, let's be real, our government should be responsible for national defense, national construction, and that's about it. The rest of it is managed at the state level. For example, like, you look at the Department of Education, the federal Department of Education, which does nothing but take in money, set standards, and send money out. They receive $47 billion a year. That is $47 billion that could be divided amongst the states. Yep. Right. And here's the thing. Do you think your state could do better with 850 million dedicated to the schools? Like, I think schools could be a little bit better. Right. And it's just as simple as that. And that's where he focuses on the tariffs so much, because he's attacking the disease. Right. He's not about attacking the symptoms. Like, when people talk about we need to focus on cutting spending in this industry, or cutting spending, no, we need to if we want to continue to exist as a nation, the size of our federal government, it's the only way. It has to be massively reduced. Because, cut back. Like, let's be real, the way we're acting is that, like, we have a, and I'm sorry to make this about women and men, but we have a wife. Like, we're making, as a man, we're making 50 grand a year. We have a wife who is spending 150 grand a year. And the wife is saying, you need to make more money. It's like, no, that's not how reality works. And that's really what our federal government is doing. They're just going, we need to get more money from you. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's not reality.
The wife represents the left. Because the wife is like, we can keep spending, and we can keep increasing our spending and just keep spending, and we're just gonna tax the rich, and that's gonna solve all of our problems. But when Elon, and I've got to pull it up, but Elon posted recently on Twitter, if you confiscated all the net worth of all the top, like, billionaires in the US. It wouldn't even touch our debt. It would not
It would
even
run the
wouldn't.
government for
like
a couple
10
of months.
months.
But
yeah,
I
so
mean,
it's ridiculous. But I mean, so last year alone, just to give you a number and idea, last year the US government spent $658 billion on our interest payments alone in 2023. Interest
And that's
alone.
what I was going to say. That's going to be the second. It's growing here within the next decade. It's going to be the second largest expenditure by the federal government, which is
It's
interest
disgusting.
on the
It's
deficit
insane.
by itself. That's just pissing money down a hole. But the tariff thing Joe's talking about is right, because you can also get around these tariffs. And that's where the whole bloodbath controversy started, because China has been working deals under Biden's nose to build these facilities all along our border and do all of this manufacturing and then come across the southern border. And so he's got to tariff the shit out of that. And he absolutely should tariff the shit out of it, because if not, it's going to have a massive negative impact on the auto industry or just labor in general.
And expanding off of that, a lot of people tend to not really understand. They like to be one-track minded when it comes to policy or economic standards, and they hyper focus on, oh, tariffs. So it's like, no, tariffs is the beginning of a game in which he's going to be playing. You also have to take into factor what he's going to be trying to do with federal income tax, what he's going to be doing in regards to a tax on tips, how that's going to affect places like where I live. I live in Texas, and then I grew up in Michigan. How those tariffs are going to affect not only the oil, but also the automotive industry. What it's going to do is it's going to tax these companies, like especially coming from Michigan, Ford. Ford had plans to expand, $1 trillion facility in the state of Michigan and a couple other places. However, once those regulations came into play from Biden, they then scrap it, we're going to Mexico. What these tariffs are going to do is it's going to force them to actually either pony up the dough, or they're going to have to come back and actually expand here, which not only helps our economy, those tariffs then won't affect the consumer, and there will be more jobs for the American people. And people don't like to think about these things because they're one-track minded.
Well, I can tell you, as somebody, I work for a company in China, right? I work for a company in Shenzhen, China. We produce all of our shit in Shenzhen. We eat that tariff when it comes over here. But I'll tell you, the number one discussion in my company is, well, if Trump gets elected, we need to move our shit to the US. That's the discussion, is they just go, okay, if Trump gets elected, we're going to have to move our shit to the US. It's going to be a little more expensive, but we're going to have to do it, because they recognize that they already recognize that when Trump gets in office, all of their loopholes and ways around shit, and we have ways to do it. Don't get me wrong. I work in renewable energy. A good example, LG just built a factory out in Arizona. The whole idea of their factory is they will build your shit in America to give you the tax break. And you can do that, and we can save money that way. We're still going to lose a little bit, but we're still going to be fine. So there are ways to do it, right? But right now, they don't have to. My company in Shenzhen, they can produce all their shit, and they can undercut all the American companies' prices, and we can beat their ass just on money.
But there has to be some level of
Tariffs
acceptance.
makes America great again.
Well, the other thing,
there has to be some level of acceptance.
So I'm curious though, what is your guys' response or your rebuttal to the left's current talking point of, well, that's just a secondary tax. Americans are going to end up having to just pay more for
but that's
overall.
They're earning an income when you pay tax. When you pay a lot of tax, that means you're earning an income. So
that was a criticism that Trump had during his first administration with tariffs, and then he partnered up with Dave McIntosh at the Club for Growth, one of the, I would say the leading Republican think tank on fiscal conservatism and free market. And so they put together a plan to which, China was dumping steel in the market, and it was costing manufacturers a lot of money. And so the tariffs were, they were passing on the tariff penalty to the consumer, and Trump found a way to get around that. And so the Democrats right now are just recycling those talking points. And,
but here's
just to be,
multifaceted.
hold on, let me finish. To be clear though, Trump's running for president. He's not writing his own policy, right? He has his ideas, but he has experts that are putting these things together for him. So when he's up on the stage and he's, when we want him as, if this is our niche, and we want more detail because we know it, just realize he's the executive, and his team, they're the ones that create these policies and procedures. And, it's going to be hard for him at this level right now to get deep into how he's going to circumvent these things from a tariff perspective. And the Democrats know that. I mean, that's why they're ankle deep in their policy, but they want Trump to be at his waist.
Right. And now
there has to be some level of understanding in the United States, which we seem to always fail to do, is there has to be some level of give and take, right? There's always going to be a positive to a negative to the positive. Look, when Trump closed a lot of those loopholes when he did the tax plan, I was the guy that paid more taxes. I didn't bitch about it. I mean, I bitched about it to my wife, but I was willing to say, you know what, it is what it is. I was taking advantage of some loopholes, and I'm the same guy saying, yeah, those corporations, they're taking advantage of loopholes. Well, I was taking advantage of loopholes. Why the fuck wouldn't I if I were there, right? And we understand when you close these, there's going to be a negative consequence to it. Like we understand when Trump did what he did with the oil and gas industry that, yeah, there is going to be a contraction in the United States because the prices were so low, right? But you've got to look at the give and take in things to get to where we are. And let's be honest, it doesn't matter what Trump's going to do here in this next couple of years. It's not going to fix quickly. You guys have to realize, and people need to realize, that this economy is so fucked up right now, especially over the last 3.5 years of the lies that this is the best economy we've ever seen, the greatest job numbers we've ever seen, the greatest manufacturing we've ever seen, even though the manufacturing industry has contracted 6 months in a row. These things are not going to be things that are fixed overnight with what Trump's going to put into place. And there's going to be some hurt. And it just is what it is. If we want to get to where we're going, there has to be some hurt. And me personally, I hate to say it, but the federal government is where the bulk of that hurt needs to be. That's where those layoffs need to be. That's where the cuts need to be. The founding fathers of this country were very clear. Get the federal government out of your fucking life, because they understood the power and the control that they could seize from the American people. But the American people have gotten so privileged and so comfortable that they're willing to outsource literally every aspect of their life and just say, let the federal government do it. And they don't realize to do that, you have to grow government, raise taxes, put more revenue in their pocket. And it's a never-ending cycle.
Like the left's entire strategy, this election round especially, is just like, let's promise all these things, these low-hanging like carrots and fruits that critical thinkers aren't going to actually assess, but it sounds pretty. And it's like, oh, I'm getting something out of this, even though it's going to cost them ultimately in the end. But we're going to have the uncomfortable conversations. And that even includes Social Security and Medicare. There's going to have to be some really uncomfortable cuts and reform that are going to have to happen. And the only side that you see willing to take that on, and it's not pretty, and it's not going to attract the, I'm sorry to say, but uninformed and dumb voters, is to talk about reform and cuts, period. We're going to have the ugly conversations and start getting serious about it, because we're on a train to hell right now as far as spending goes.
But the reality is that candidates and everything like that, you have to ignore stupid fucking people. Yes. Right? Because like stupid fucking people are going to chime in. They're going to be like, no, like I debated with a guy the other night who obviously had a severe case of TDS. Like he was like, well, I didn't like that Trump did this. I said, well, Trump didn't do that. Here's what he actually did. And we went over and over like this. And it was just, this dude was fucking uneducatable, right? He was invincibly ignorant to reality. And it was fine. And the thing is that we're always going to have that. You have to ignore those idiots. And the reality is that I come from the business world. So I look at things in a business sense and I go, okay, a business that runs a deficit every year of 3 times its actual take-in. Okay, that's not a reality. Like that's just not possible. And that's what Americans don't want to come to grips with, right? Like it's the same reason why the UK hated Margaret Thatcher, because she came in office and she was like, you motherfuckers need to chill. Y'all are living way high on the hog. We need austerity. We need to chill the fuck out because we're running out of money and we're borrowing money from our enemies that are charging us interest. And this is no way to set up the future. And they were all like, oh, she's such a horrible woman. Yeah, but that island only exists independently because she did that, right? That's the only reason that country even still exists, is because she was like, no, we got to cut back. Like imagine the American people if we came out and we said, United States government, you can only spend what you take in. Like, just imagine the reality of it going, guys, maybe we don't need to repave our streets every 2 years. Maybe we don't need to subsidize corn production every year. Maybe we don't need to subsidize these businesses. Maybe we don't need to spend money on learning whether or not frogs fuck more on cocaine, right? Like there's so many stupid expenditures that we make, and we only make them because like we're making them on somebody else's credit card. Like our government is literally spending on our grandchildren's credit card. And we have to stop that. If we want to, like, here's the thing: America will exist while we're all alive. But our grandchildren will not have a nation with spending like this. It's just not possible.
Hey, could I chime in on that?
Shoot.
I've been waiting to say this for a minute, and I'm not going to take away from whatever Joe was talking about right now. But to respond to you, Logic, when people talk about tariffs being a tax, why are suddenly Democrats or liberals complaining about taxes? I thought they loved taxes, right? Now suddenly they want to lower taxes like that. That's insane. But and the tariffs in general, I don't think are the greatest idea, but it is changing behavior. Like OM pointed out, his own company, it's to change behavior. It's not something that we want to make permanent, right? It's not ideally what we want to make permanent. And I think maybe Trump could make that clear. I'm not sure what he stands for on that. But what I've been dealing with, guys, and I know you've dealt with this too, with people coming in and debating in your lives, is they're bringing up these identity politics. They're bringing up these third rail things like abortion, like reproductive rights. And I think it's important to attack those, not attack, but respond to those things with what is going to make the country a better place. And that doesn't talking about abortion and all that. That's not going to put food on your table. That's not going to decrease. That's not going to increase the value of the dollar. And I think that some of us fall short, and I fall short on trying to speak to Gen Z and try to remind them of these things. So I think it's important to try to reach across the table to talk to them more about these things, because I feel like we all live in this echo chamber. I agree with everybody in here, right? But I've had trouble with these younger voters, these 20-year-olds that come in and just want to talk about abortion. That's what they're focusing on. They're not looking at the future down the road, the country burning down because of the amount of debt that we're in.
Well, and that's why Kamala Harris loved that.
Sorry, go ahead.
Hold on, wait. So let's do real quick, just to let you know. Let's do Beard, Nate, then go back to Logic.
So I've done a couple of videos on it, and they always get flagged. And Kamala said that 18 to 24-year-olds were stupid. That's exactly right, and that's what they bank on, right? The only reason why Kamala Harris is able to speak on women's reproductive right, let's be honest, she's talking about fucking abortion. The only reason why she's even able to speak on that topic is because Democrats have failed to keep their campaign promises over and over and over again. Barack Obama said, give me the House, give me the Senate, give me the White House. I will codify Roe v. Wade. He basically had a supermajority. Did it ever come up for a vote? No. And when he was asked about it, what did he say? Well, it just wasn't important. Yeah, it's not important because we don't want to remove that campaign emotional stimulant, right? Because what has Kamala gone to? She is going hard right now on the abortion topic, and then she threw the bullshit reparations thing out there again. And she won't be able to explain how that's going to happen, but she's doing that because she's losing so soundly when it comes to she's behind 20 points when it comes to the economy. She's losing on the border. She's losing on crime. She's losing on geopolitical discussions. So the only thing she has are those two emotional topics, and that's what she has to go to is emotion and ignorance from the younger generation.
She's losing, but she's propping. She's losing, but she's propping down ballot. Right. That's what we have to understand.
Right.
The other thing we have to understand is Republicans are balloon chasers. Okay. We chase a bunch of bullshit. Right. We need to look at the fundamental issues with this country that's going to save it, and we need to not get into the weeds with this shit. Right. The country needs triage. The border, right? The border, energy. Those are the two things that we need to be fixing.
Yep.
Because everything else will come into play. But we're
I think
allowing
you need
Kamala
to
Harris to take us down rabbit holes, and she's doing that. Look, the Democratic Party and the establishment, they know that they're not winning the presidency. They want to win the Congress. Okay, they want to put Trump in a corner. They've known this for 8 months.
Yep.
When Kamala Harris became the nominee, and not that jackass in California. They gave up. Now the onus is on J.B. Pritzker and the Kamala Harris campaign. The establishment is staying out of it. And look, I'm going to tell you guys a secret. The most powerful man in this country right now is a guy named Jeff Miller, and he's a Republican. Okay? And you can look him up, and you just draw some lines. He controls the purse strings on every major political fund. the Congressional Leadership Fund, the Energy and Commerce Leadership Fund, all that shit. He's the guy that pulls the strings in
Did
DC.
anyone else see
And he
balloons?
gave
Somebody
up.
said something about balloons, and you got fucking balloons.
There you go.
I don't-
Listen, he gave up. They gave up on the battle. So what do they want to do? They want to put a fence around Donald Trump, and they want to run him through impeachment for 2 years. And they are chasing down ballot right now, and they are making Trump fight in these states where it's being told by the pollsters, right, that they're super competitive. And if you hit the ground in Michigan, for example, everybody loves Trump. Everybody. I live right on the Ohio-Michigan border, and I can tell you, I've never seen the emotion that there is for Trump right now, and it's tangible. It's not fake. And but he's going to be spinning his wheels in Michigan, right, rallying in places where other candidates that he's going to need down ballot that could win him the Congress, he's not going to be paying attention to. And that's just the strategic anomaly that they're working through right now. But I'm telling you right now, no one but Kamala Harris believes that she can win, and Tim Walz. Their consultants believe they can win they're telling them they can win. You know why? Because the more money they raise, the more money they get to spend, and the more money they're put in their pocket. This is a money game right now. That they have about, I think, $280 million still remaining in their campaign fund, and that should tell you right there. This is all about money.
Well,
So wait, I wanted to let Nate chime in. He had something to say a little earlier. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, I wanted to address Anthony's question in regards to, when these 18 to 24-year-olds come into my lives, basically what I do with them, like I had one last night that was actually earnestly looking for more information, is I don't allow them to take these social issues that like abortion and run with it and try and ask questions about it. Because first of all, what I said is I educate people on what position can do what in government. So when you hear a president saying, "Oh, I'm going to get abortion legalized," they're full of shit, because in all reality, they don't have the power to do that. And I try and help them understand that by reading Article 2 to them, which outlines the actual duties and operations of a president, and getting them to understand where our fiscal money is coming from, things like that, and how that's controlled by Congress. And I break it down to them so that way they can't ask questions about abortion, because then at that point they know, well, wait, either I'm full of shit or she's full of shit, or we're all full of shit, and I'm just listening to googly mook on the internet without actually understanding how my government works. So basically, I let them know, hey, this is not something the president can do. So why are we hyper-focusing on something that is not even within their realm of power?
Literally,
no, but I feel like we're losing on this in general. That's the reason I bring it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think part of it too, and I'm going to say this, and this might offend some ladies out there listening. There are a lot of emotionally led female voters right now who are one-issue voters.
She's offending women. I'm making her big.
I saw that.
Like, okay. But I think there's a lot of one-issue female voters right now who are wildly uninformed, and they're just leading with emotions. And so I want to have Joelle and SK tap in on this. But what I have started to do, and they don't really like this, they get very angry with me. It's like kicking a hornet's nest, because when we talk about the Title IX updates and the erosion of sex-based protections in law by the Biden-Harris administration, I get really irked that they are women's rights advocates when abortion, they know it's a female's right. When we go into Title IX, woman now includes males. So it's a contradiction that I just don't tolerate. And I think it's really disgusting to sit there, and basically the hypocrisy kills me. So I like to inform the ladies, Kamala can't do anything unless she packs the court, which is disgusting. We don't support that. Unless she signs a bill that Congress passes, which is not likely to happen. That's it. It's at the state level. Go protest, advocate at your state legislature. I don't care. But also, like, if you're going to be a women's rights advocate, know what a woman is. So Joelle, go ahead and you can go.
I live in the state of California.
I'm in Colorado. It's like California mini, so I get you.
Yeah, I'm in California. Go ahead, Joelle.
It is the previous school that my kids were at, which was a private institution. They were transferred to another private institution. They celebrated Trans Month. And they are definitely trying to blur the lines of gender within this state. And it's through the years has gotten worse and worse. birthing person is something that many teenagers use here nowadays. And you almost can't say something because you are not inclusive if you do. But yeah, you're right. They speak out of both sides out of their mouth. From one side, they're trying to be feminist, and from the other side, a man, well, not a man, but yeah, a man could give birth. It's wild.
But why don't we challenge that by like every one of us identifying as a woman on TikTok? Like you think about it, like me, Beard, Jeffrey, JR, Anthony, Nate. Like we just go, hey, I identify as a woman. You need to address me as a woman, and just challenge how much they actually
Well,
believe in
and
that.
you need to also say, I want to advocate for my right to an abortion.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if there's a uterine transplant, it'd be the first ever. But I want to be able to murder my baby too.
But why is it that mostly the liberal men that are coming into these like live panels and talking about abortion? It pisses
With
me
cat
off every
photos.
single day. It's never the liberal women. It's never women. It's only liberal men.
No, it's the women
I
too.
get the crazy ladies.
Yeah, but
I don't
Yeah, I
get
was
that.
about
I
to say
get
she
men.
gets some in her live. I
Well,
watch.
the difference is you have to understand is that when I hear this, when I hear any argument about abortion from men, I don't say, hey, look, you don't get to talk about this because you're a guy. I instantly go, if your main topic in an election is abortion, you're a piece of shit. Like, because here's the thing, if as a guy, like I'm 40, but let's just say 30-year-old guy, if my biggest concern isn't the economy, it isn't security at our border, it isn't foreign relations, it isn't keeping our soldiers out of war, it isn't managing our spending, it isn't anything like that. If my main concern is I want to be able to fuck a chick and make sure she can kill the baby, you're a piece of shit.
Don't you find that funny though, Joe? Because the whole women's rights movement was about, being able to do all these things and to be equal and to put themselves in a position, whether that was a dangerous position or whatever a position, but they wanted to be able to have those same rights as men. And now women are basically being told again, you're just women, right? They're telling you, they're telling you that if you're voting for Trump, you're voting against your self-interest. They say the same thing to the black community. Number one, it's their self-interest. So who the fuck are you to tell them what their self-interest is?
Yeah.
But if you're telling me you're voting against your self-interest, okay, take my wife for an example, right? We've already had 2 kids. Our kids are grown. What is her self-interest? Because you seem to think her self-interest should only be women's reproductive rights. That to me is a slap in the face of women and a complete shift of what your movement claims to be, because my wife also owns her own businesses,
but that's
and
the
so
thing.
she's looking at it and she's saying she wants.
Regularly see posts on TikTok and X where people are like, Republican, like women, how could any of you vote for Republican? And I've made the same I make the same reply every time. I go, here's the thing, if you think women shouldn't vote for a Republican based on abortion, you're a sexist piece of shit.
Yes.
Because here's what I recognize about women in 2024. I recognize that women are equal to men, that women are worried about the economy. They're worried about security. They're worried about foreign relations. They're worried about foreign conflicts. They're worried about their ability to be able to retire. They're really worried about their children being able to have advantages in life. They're worried about everything that a man is worried about.
They're worried about regulations on their business, in their industry, on their taxes, everything.
Yeah, but that's the thing is when a liberal comes out and says and acts like women should only care about one topic, you'd have to be a sexist piece of shit to think that way.
So
right, that's a good point.
This is an actual conversation I've had on a live, because again, I bring up the Title IX updates because the Biden administration added gender identity to the sex-based protections of Title IX, which affects K through 12 colleges and universities, millions of girls and women, mainly minorities. And I had a guy who was pro-choice advocate for abortion, which again, when you have a woman whose only women's right that she advocates for is abortion, it's infuriating because we're much more than our ability to terminate a pregnancy. I mean, it's just, anyways, that's the whole thing. And he just said, well, then it should just be co-ed sports and the girls are just going to have to do better.
Well, Kayla over here says everybody should be afraid of Project 2025. Yeah. And Donald Trump has disavowed Project
How-
2025 and doesn't
No,
stand
but-
for anything in it.
Again, guys, use this talking point, please, for the love. Kayla, are you familiar with the Title IX updates and the fact that we're going to lose scholarships that were reserved for females? That now males can compete in our high school sports and put girls' safety at risk? That they can now participate in girls or what were female-only activities and programs? Our spaces can now be infiltrated by males, and schools cannot question the validity of said gender identity. So the Biden administration has put millions of girls at risk, and y'all don't even know about it. So don't talk to me about Project 2025.
No, but along those
Logic.
along
That's a
those
great
lines-
point. I'll definitely use that.
Wait. Can I ask real quick? What the fuck about let's just say Trump loved Project 2025, which he doesn't, but let's just say he did.
He hasn't read
What
it.
the fuck about Project 2025 should terrify women?
Exactly.
All it says is you don't get to fucking murder your babies. Like,
It
that's
doesn't
not a
even say
crazy
that.
thought.
And it doesn't even say that.
It doesn't even
Can I-
say
No,
that.
well,
They
it
talk about
says-
the
sorry.
abortion, the
I'm sorry,
chemical
it
abortion
says-
bill.
Yeah, it
all
talks
it
about
says
the
is that
abortion pill.
all it says is that the decision should remain with the states. Which here's
Can
the thing, guys. Like all that the overturning of Roe v. Wade did was move the decision closer to your control.
Yes.
And
And
here's
the
the thing,
funny
let me
thing
be
is
real
Trump's
about this.
belief
I
is
did wait. I did an evaluation on this the other day. The farthest, the farthest time distance you would have to travel if you were in the most conservative state, if you were as deep in a conservative state as you could, the farthest you'd have to travel is a 4-hour car ride. If you are not willing to drive 4 hours to murder a human being, you don't get to fucking kill it.
Joe.
Joe, let me say something about Project 2025 real quick, because there's a misconception. So I would contest that most of us haven't read it. And if you had, you'd probably love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not much bad about
Let
it.
me finish.
I'm gonna be
Project
real, I read-
2025 was written by the most loyal based Trump supporters that came from his 2016 campaign, that learned the lessons, that watched him get stabbed in the back, and they wrote this as an opportunity for them to present it to him. He never read it. Okay. His campaign consultants at the highest level got pissed off, and they convinced him to publicly go against it. Okay. That's what happened. And there are people that have suffered for that. So we have to watch what we say, only because I know if you read it, you'd feel differently. That's all. You know, we're a victim of the messaging too. So
no, and I get that, but the problem is let's get it off of the table. See, they're trying to use it as a distraction.
Right.
but they
Right?
but here's the
try
other
to
thing
claim
though.
it's something that it's not. So if we can just cut that tail off and get it out of the way and focus on what the real issues are.
I don't disagree, but when we respond to the left, when they throw these softballs at us, and we respond, and I'm not saying you did this, because I hear other people that actually do this, but when we respond so matter of fact, the Democrats know that we're full of shit, that we haven't read it, and we're just saying what we're being told. And
Well, wait. What do you mean? Like, are you saying with what I responded with Title IX?
no, nobody
Oh.
on this panel. I'm just saying, I wasn't even paying attention to the chat for the last couple minutes. My boss was texting me, but
Yeah.
my point is Project 2025. So Rick Grinnell, Kash Patel, right? All these people, they wrote Project 2025. Okay, they were authors. Pam Bondi, all right, friends of mine, and Trump has no idea. He was told by the highest level of his campaign that this is bullshit and it's going to make him look bad, and it's going to cost him points. And what did he do? He reacted, because he's a leader that trusts his people. And guess what? After he found out who wrote it, guess what happened? Corey Lewandowski came back to the campaign. Okay, so pull the curtain back, pull the onion back, peel it back a couple more levels, and you'll see that this is, I mean, it's pervasive to Trump's campaign. If we weren't 2 months away from the election when he found this out, they ought to have been fucking fired. He'd embarrassed the shit out of all of them.
Can I ask a question that I think may be fun? I think this question may be fun and maybe a little less serious, but I'm going to be real with y'all. So, like, I support Trump. I'm 100% voting for him. Easy fucking decision for me, right? But I'm going to be real about this. As I peruse TikTok, or I live in the South, there are some areas of the country, there are some areas of TikTok where I meet fellow Trump supporters and I go, fuck me, I wish you didn't support Trump.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm like, I'm not the same.
Yeah.
100%.
You know, the people that are like, oh, I'm voting for that white boy. Like, you know, that type of shit.
I mean, I make it a
Try running for office.
prerogative
Joe.
of mine to actually call out people on our side more. So I love doing videos.
Oh,
on
yeah.
that.
Like Patriot Front, right? People like that, right?
I love
Yeah.
Try running for office and get quartered by a bunch of people that believe in QAnon.
And real quick, by the way, Kayla,
Junior.
by the way,
Stay
real
on
quick,
me.
Kayla in the chat, you didn't get blocked. We just recognized that you were fucking stupid and we stopped responding to you.
Yeah. Hey, young Jeffrey, you haven't really said much,
I
man.
was about to say the same thing. I want to hear from Jeffrey.
That
over
would
about
have been a
killing
perfect
babies.
gasp.
I mean, which point do you want me to talk about? So,
Come give me a hug.
when I was probably 15, 16, 17, Joe, to your point, I was more of a piece of shit, right? I wanted to lay pipe wherever I could, knowing that there would be no consequences in the end. And then I grew up and got married. I have children, and I can't fathom 17, 18-year-old Jeff having that mindset, right? Because I see my children every day. I love my children. My whole life is devoted to them. The whole Title IX thing. So, yeah, I mean, in the high school sports, that's terrible because, to your point, Logic, girls that want to pursue that avenue in sports, maybe just collegiate level, maybe the professional level, we never know, but having those opportunities for scholarships, because as we all know, college is a fucking joke and super expensive. So if you can at least go there free or half price, get your bullshit piece of paper that some employers want to see. They don't care what school it's from. They don't care what field of study you did. They just want to see that you did something for 4 years. We're taking those opportunities away. On the most extreme scale, Fallon Fox is the only example I ever need to use for people.
I went to high school with Fallon, fucking weirdo.
That dude fucking beats the shit out of women,
motherfucker. He's a weird motherfucker, man.
breaks their
Weird.
skulls, and people are like, oh yeah, no, it's cool, totally
Probably
normal.
shouldn't have picked on him in high school. Maybe it would have been different.
You should look up Peyton McNabb because she's now permanently disabled because she got a spiked volleyball to the face from a trans girl.
Yeah.
So
Well,
if we want to talk about like,
Is that what we're calling it nowadays? Spike volleyball to the face? All right.
And look,
who is that?
I'm kidding. It's a
you can
joke.
see-
It's a joke. I'm sorry.
you can see
I saw that
back-
video and it was awful. That was
it's,
you can
it's
see
horrific.
back
And
here.
again, this
It's
is like if
horrific.
they yap in my face that they're these women's rights advocates and they are okay with this happening, they're full of shit. I'm sorry.
Like my
Like,
wife.
and here's
she's
the
a
thing.
trophy.
Let's be
She's a
real.
former
The
pro
only
competitor.
reason why women's sports exist, and this is no offense to women, love y'all ladies. The only reason why women's sports exists is because we wanted women to be able to compete in sport without the overlying effect of having to deal with us. Like we recognize that we are fucked up in the head, like we do stupid shit, that we're overly violent when we're young. Like that's just part of who we are. Like that's how we're built. And what we wanted to do was because, like, let's be real. Every right that women have is because men permit it. And I don't mean that offensively, but no. Hold on. Let's be real for a second. We live in according to the left, we live in a patriarchy. So everything you got is because we allow it. Right? Like women got equal rights, not because they fought for it, but because the government recognized that more people working would be more tax revenue. Y'all didn't get the rights because they were like, well, these women are so right. We need to let them work. No, they were like, fuck yeah, double the tax revenue plus childcare. Hell yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree. I think the biggest thing though is like there were so many milestone moments within the women's rights movement and women's athletics. And in the early 1970s, we went from 250,000 women participating in school athletics. And in 2011, it's 3.25 million because of Title IX. So it's been one of the most like landmark pieces of legislation for women, and it's literally being chipped away by the left, and there's just silence about it. So it's something I'm super passionate about. It's a topic that I will speak about every chance I get because people need to get informed. And it's just this joke that the left, and like you guys said, Kamala has to use abortion because she's failing on the economy and immigration, period. She has to lean into that.
Yeah. And the abuse of power. Nobody's talking about that. Title IX was changed through abuse of power. A lot of the things that they've done in this administration has been abuse of power.
It's the hive mind effect. When Kamala talks about abortion, then every congressional candidate in the country is going to get asked about it by their local media. and then they're going to have to answer and respond, and then Republicans are going to have to do that, and then the NRCC, which is the Republican Congressional Committee, are shitting their pants because they don't know how to answer it, and then they're giving bad advice, and so candidates are stumbling and they're getting whitewashed because they're fucking idiots and they need to be spoon fed.
Yeah.
That's the reality. I'm telling you guys, they're focused down. They're so focused down ballot right now. The presidential election is just circus. It's circus to keep us
Yeah,
busy.
but can I ask the women in this live a question? So here's the thing, like we recognize on the
So I can
Republican
answer
side,
that, right?
we're winning on the guy's side. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I identify as a woman, so I'm going to answer.
Okay, but you got titties, it's fine. You shake them all the time on camera. But I want to ask the women here, because we recognize on the male side, like Republicans, like we're running away with it. It's fine. And any man who's voting Democrat, like I question whether or not your balls are dropped. But on the women's side is like, so let me ask the women just a question like this. What could, because you're all conservative, you're all vote, or at least you're voting on the Republican side. What could the Democrat Party propose to you that would be enough to get you to vote that way?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not a chance.
So here's the thing too, that I think there's a massive shift happening and that's why you see like RFK joining Trump. There's people breaking away from the left because of the corruption, the establishment, again, it's just government entity. It's no longer about representation and doing what's right for the people. And so I think you're seeing a movement now, and I don't think it's just about voting Democrat. It's about voting for the same old where they want to tax you to hell and spend to the high heavens and not represent you and have people in there for 50 years who don't care what you need, versus like, we need to change this now. Like this has gotten way too far. It's gone way too far. But now Kamala represents that icky side that so many people are walking away from. And so no, I can't vote for it because the Democrats have embraced that. Whereas I feel like the right has been like, all right, even if you're a Democrat, come over here. We'll figure out a way to make some solutions, but we need to turn this around immediately.
All right, so
Hey,
Joelle,
my girlfriend also says nothing.
Wait. We got
Go.
one more woman. So Joelle, you're in California. I feel like you'd be the most susceptible to liberal like pitching.
So, you know this. I was a Democrat until after Trump got elected. I do have a lot of liberal views, if you will. I'm pro-choice, my body, my choice across the board. And every conservative that I know here is pro-choice. And I feel like the abortion topic is not a point of contention for any of the conservative women that I know. With in terms of the reason why I pivoted and many other Democrats that I knew pivoted is because the current party is focused on 0.0000001% of the population. The ones that identify as trans, furries, the ones,
not the furries.
Yeah, do you know there's a
Furry,
little
oh my God.
there's
I
a
love you
litter
for that.
box
I love you for that.
in one of our schools.
Okay.
On the yard, there's a litter box for people who identify as cats. This school charges $75,000 a year.
Yeah, my hometown.
That's crazy.
The
Okay.
It's
hometown
beyond. So when I'm saying the 0.00001%, they are really shifting an entire institution, a private school institution, to accommodate how many students. It's and that is why, and I almost want to thank them for doing this, because record number of Democrats are leaving the party and coming running arms open to the conservative party. Because
they're showing how ridiculous they are, and they're driving them to the MAGA side. I mean, that kind of carries on to me. I'm also in the People's Republic of California, so I mean, I'm a former Democrat myself, and I definitely agree with what Joelle's saying there. Yeah, and I do think it is kind of showing their insanity. And the look on young Jeffrey's face when she said who identify as cats was just priceless, man. Like,
there's a school in my congressional district that was the first one that did this. And they allowed the little boy or girl, I don't got mixed up if it's a boy or a girl, genetically, but they allowed them to defecate in a litter box, but they weren't allowed to wear their cat suit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, my
I'm gonna be
nephew.
honest.
Here's the
I'm gonna be honest,
kicker:
I
the
would've-
teachers
That's
union
for
tried to
real?
make the teachers union tried to make the teacher clean the litter box.
No, but I'm gonna be real. I would have picked the cat suit over the litter box. Like,
You
would
think,
if I
right?
have a classroom,
Yeah,
I'd rather you
Reality,
wear a
guys.
cat suit.
exactly. Wear the
Like,
suit.
don't
You're not
shit in
pissing
my
and shitting in a
class.
box.
So
They
there are
went the
people
other
in,
route.
there are
I
people in the
remember I used to get set out in the hallway for being disruptive. I'm sorry, but shitting in the corner of the room is disruptive.
In the closet, dude.
In the closet?
There,
Yes.
Wait, hold on,
in the
wait.
fucking
See,
closet.
I
Nope.
would have. Here's the best argument.
Me go full bore. That kid's shitting there. They're not getting toilet paper. They're eating on the fucking floor. Dude, if
Yeah.
you're gonna fucking do it all the way or
Go
get the
all
fuck
out, man. Be a fucking cat. Eat some tuna,
Be a
some
fucking
9
cat.
lives and shit.
I got 20 detentions for talking, but no, we can shit in a box now, right? Yeah.
how much of
There you
this? How much of this do you think is happening because people aren't parenting their kids anymore
Well,
and
I
just
think
letting
so.
them
But
do what they
here's the
want?
Gentle
thing. Here's
I
the
don't think
thing.
it's
and like,
that.
yeah, all
But here's
that.
the
I
thing.
think
There are consequences now. Like, there used to be benefits to being a good parent. That now there are consequences to being a good parent. There are your child, like, for example, in California, if your child is at least 12 years old and wants gender transition surgery or gender transitioning with hormones, and you deny them that, they can take your child away from you, which I
It's
think
terrifying.
a lot of California parents have used because they hate their fucking kids and they just want them taken away from them. And which is fine. I get it. If you hate your fucking kids, I get it. I sucked as a kid. But the simple thing is that, like, here's the thing. Like, I think our society has lost 3 very important things. The first thing is bullying. I think it's very important.
Yep.
The
I
second
do
thing is
too.
beating the fuck out of your kids when they fuck up. I think they lost that. And third, I think we've lost the ability to question how stupid our children are.
Well, and I think the biggest thing is boundaries. Like, I don't think you, like, we're not talking physically, but I mean, you need to, like, have boundaries. Your kid has to face consequences for when they do
Yes.
wrong. They crave boundaries, they crave structure. And I think we,
Very
as
true.
not all of society, but a lot of society, because I have 2 young girls, are like, no, just gentle, like, don't use the word no. We don't use the word no in our, like, the what? Like, no, I use no literally. I think it's probably the second most used word in my vocabulary when I'm with my kids.
I
But
know
I
that
think
Joelle
also,
uses no. I hear her tell her kids on live all the time.
yeah, like, I say no, and it's just it has to happen. But yeah, I agree with you that this whole, like, gentle parenting and this toxic inclusivity, and I just can't.
Beat
Go ahead,
your
Joelle.
actually
fucking
think
kids.
that enough parents don't. I don't think it's a parenting issue. I think that people that work in these institutions were indoctrinated with that mindset, and they are the ones that are teaching the children. So the children are absorbing the indoctrination and they're being honored for their differences. So if a child identifies as they, them, and are exploring with same-sex relations, but they act up in school, they don't get punished the same way a normal kid would if he's just heterosexual and talking back to the teacher. They're pardoned more, which is the first problem. The second problem is parents are scared to speak up against these institutions. What will they think of me? They will ostracize my kid if I speak up. And my daughter and son's school, they pulled them out from, they hired the school therapist to be identified as they, them. So it's MX, mix. And we got a letter that if they go to seek psychology sessions within school, that they will not notify us. And we had to sign this waiver along with 500 other waivers that you sign with every school when your kid starts. I didn't sign this waiver. And I got an email saying that I forgot a paperwork to sign. And I said, I didn't forget. I'm not signing it. And then they're like, well, then she cannot go see the school therapist. And I'm like, great.
Cool. Great. And that's the thing. If you talk about indoctrination and that not you, that rubs me the wrong way. And the reason why it rubs me the wrong way is I'm the fucking parent. And when my girls would come home from school, I'm there to balance out that indoctrination, right? I think parents have gotten away from doing what parents used to do. Parents used to parent. Parents used to be in front of the teachers. Parents used to. I understand in your California, it's a bit different. I'm in Texas, so it's a little easier. But look, put me in jail. You're not going to tell me how to raise my child. You're not going to tell me how to do these things. I'm going to balance what my kids, I tell my daughters, or used to tell them when they come home from school, same thing I'm going to tell my granddaughter is you're going to school to learn reading, writing, math, history, things that are going to progress you to the next level to get you into college if you decide to go that route. And to me, only if you're going to do something technical like engineering or go to medical school. Other than that, like with my daughter, I sent her to a whatever she does school. And I told her, look, get into it. You love it. We'll start a business. You can have it. Your mom's got some. But we're as parents have I think fallen asleep at the wheel. I think we're not pushing back hard
They're
enough.
scared of being judged.
Well, and that's a problem. If
Hey,
like I told my
I gotta
daughter,
bail
if
out.
you're afraid of what
Yeah.
other people are thinking,
See
then
ya.
we're going to become dumb, right? And I tell
Also-
my daughters that if you're afraid to say what you truly mean, I'm lost if that's the world that we're going to live in and we're going to cow down to it.
I'll say this and then I'll shut up on the topic. I'll let other people speak. But so we have, there's a Jefferson County, Colorado is a school district because Colorado is almost as liberal as California, if we're honest with ourselves. They have a policy and several parents are suing that they had like an overnight field trip or school trip, right? And so there was a 18-year-old female who a week earlier then decided they identify as a male.
Yep.
This 18-year-old female was allowed to supervise 12-year-old boys overnight showering, etc. And the school's policy was to not inform the parents or the students of this individual not being the same biological sex. They also had a boy who identified as a girl set to room with a female, 12-year-old female. She was so uncomfortable when she found out. She called her mom. Her mom removed her from the trip. But the school's policy is to not inform the parents. So you're basically not allowing the parents to fully consent to the conditions of this trip. And the school took that upon themselves to decide that and cut the parents out. And I think if parents are going to put their kids in the public school system, you need to go in with eyes wide open that they are trying to cut us out of the equation. They do not want us involved as soon as our kid steps foot in that school, in that classroom. And that's a massive problem.
And I think that's where he talked about down ballot, right? Down ballot
Mhm.
isn't just at your congressional level, right? I've told people time and time again, people need to be more involved in their schools, more involved in electing these board members, more involved in going to these meetings. Look, I went to every fucking meeting. And if you're going to say some shit that I disagree with, I'm going to be sure to raise some hell in that room and get other people to start thinking the same way. Because here's what I tell everybody. You're in California, and California is going to sit there and do these transitions. They're going to give your kid puberty blockers. They're going to do all these things, and they're going to mess with your kid's head. But when something goes wrong, they're not going to be there. That's going to be back on the parents. That's going to be back on the kid. When that kid's fucked up because of those puberty blockers or the hormones they're putting them on or all the bullshit, the school and the state are going to look the other way. And what are the words going to be? Because they said the exact same thing after the vaccination. Nobody forced you to do it.
The big thing too, though, is like I agree that parents need to be more responsible, but I would offer this: consider the school system like going to Pep Boys and getting your oil changed, right? You drop your car off, you pay the money, you expect them to change your fucking oil. You don't need to sit there and watch them, right? And so there's been this messaging effort to placate Republicans because we're big on individual accountability. And the reality of it is that we pay taxes for these school systems.
I'm going to challenge
And
that.
this is where
Wait. I want to challenge that analogy real quick, because here's the thing: is that we've known since, if we compare 1970 to 2024, we know that back then, inflation adjusted spending, we were spending $995 per student, and they were getting the education that made these people, right? And then today we're spending $2,500 per student. So to challenge that analogy a little bit, if for the last 50 years my oil changes have continued to get worse and worse and worse, and they continue to fuck my car up more and more and more.
You go to a
At
different
some
vendor.
point, I'm going to challenge Jiffy Lube to unfuck themselves, or I'm not bringing my car there anymore.
Absolutely, but you can't be cognitively disengaged for 50 years, let
I
your oil
agree.
get fucked up, and then just jump in on a Monday and rally up your buddies and pretend like well, if we just pay attention, it'll all change.
that's
No, it won't.
because-
It's
Well,
institutionalized.
that's because I think the American people, the one thing we are above all else, I'm not saying the people here, but I'm saying as an American populace, the one thing we are is we are extremely fucking trainable, right? Like, because you got to think, like, the way we teach kids in school is exactly how we teach our dogs. We want them to sit still, shut the fuck up, and do what we tell them to do. That's how we train our dogs. Like, that's how we train dogs. We say, hey, look, sit there, shut the fuck up, don't bark, and do what I tell you and learn commands. And that's how we raise kids in our school system. And the reality is like, what did we think we were going to get out of that? We were going to get obedient fucking idiots who don't question authority.
You forgot that they're overly medicated.
No, but
Yes.
on top of that,
But,
on
but this
top of that, like, here's the thing. We know, like, dogs are one of those creatures that you could kick a dog. I'm not saying to kick a dog, YouTube. I'm not advocating for kicking dogs, but you can kick a dog. 5 minutes later, it loves you and it wants to be with you, right? Right. And that's that's literally the people we've created. We've gotten to the point where the government can come out and kick you across the fucking room. And then 5 minutes later, you're begging them for a treat.
And all I'm saying is parental engagement is just one portion of the solution. I mean, we deserve, as taxpayers and as constitutionalists, which I'm assuming most of you are, right? Is to have that confidence in our institutions, and we don't have that. And again, we're kind of, not us, right? Not here, but generally speaking, the special interest groups
who doesn't pay taxes?
I don't.
Well, yeah, I mean, a couple.
Lies.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm in
I don't
Ohio,
pay,
so Springfield's right down the street.
I can tell you, unlike California, I don't pay state taxes.
I'm like, he's like,
Nor
you
do
pay
we.
taxes. I'm like, huh?
And by the way, I do want to state that ever since I started making money on TikTok, I don't pay taxes on that either. They're gonna have to come find me.
But the funny
No,
thing,
real
because
quick, I
we
gotta
always hear
jump
that
off.
They
argument
cannot
about.
done you.
we always hear that-
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I treat TikTok like I treat a doctor, right? Like, if I don't go into the hospital, I'm never sick, right? If I don't go look at the 1099, I never got it, right? So here's the thing. Like, you're gonna have to come seek me because I make probably about $10,000 a month on TikTok. And the
Holy
fucking
cow.
and TikTok's, well, look, I just make it for views. I don't sell shit on TikTok Shop. I don't do TikTok lives where I get a ton of gifts. Like, the best gifts I've ever done on live, I think I did a live where I got like $7 and I was fucking thrilled, right? But like, I get it all for views, right? But my thing is this: it's like, here's the thing with the federal government. Let me let you know, FBI, IRS, CIA, all you. In June of next year, I'm bouncing. I'm going to Europe, and I'm spending a year in Europe. And if you start coming at me for taxes, I'm fucking staying there. So good luck getting your money.
Joe,
Hey,
you
how
make-
much did you have?
Did you see that the IRS? Did you
I
see
gotta
that the
take off real quick.
IRS
Look, thank you
endorsed?
for letting me on, man.
Hey, Nate, you're awesome, dude.
Have a good one, guys.
Appreciate you.
See you
Later.
later.
And I do want to say hi to political education. I'm a huge fan of political education. The difference is that political education comes on here and he gives the information, and I just watch people lose their shit in his comments because he puts no spin on it. Like, for us, like, we're personalities. We say things a certain way. We add a little something to it. He just comes on. He's like, let me tell you why you're fucking stupid. And it's lovely.
Look, I've been doing this stuff for 19 years. I better have learned something by now.
But for what he said about the schools, real quick, before we diverge onto another subject, I mean, we already know how it can play out, right? We've all seen that school up in New York that's excelling at a fraction of the cost. They have 100% acceptance in the universities. They've got people lined up to get in there. They're all low income, all minorities, all everything, and it's excelling. But the state and the school unions are doing everything they possibly can to shut it down. What people don't understand is they hear about school choice and they always push, why can't we get school choice? You hear Republicans saying, oh, yeah, school choice. School choice is never going to happen. And the reason why it's never going to happen is because in a lot of these, especially in these Republican little rural small areas and small cities and small towns, that's their largest tax base. They get their largest employer and their largest tax revenue coming from these school systems. And if they say, oh, school choice, they're going to crush that. And so you're going to have a really fucking hard time getting that passed, no matter how much these guys like to claim about it on the campaign trail. It's funny how they talk about it on the campaign trail, kind of like Obama did with abortion. And then when push comes to shove, they shut the fuck up. They say what they had to say to get elected, but they're not going to do it. It will negatively impact their community, which will ultimately negatively impact their next election.
And just to
So,
go along with
Beard,
it,
real quick.
in the
Love
state
that
of New
DOE
York,
money.
let me ask everyone a question. So in the state of New York, if I asked you where the best performing school is, I want you to tell me where it is. SK, where do you think it is?
I would assume it's probably somewhere you wouldn't think.
No,
I
where?
don't
Where
know.
do you think?
I don't know. I'm gonna guess Manhattan.
That's
Okay,
a good
Logic?
answer.
Westchester County.
Joel?
Long Island.
Anthony?
Rochester. I don't know.
JR?
I don't know, Albany.
Band, you already know the answer to this question. Political?
I think it's in Brooklyn, actually.
It's in Harlem.
I was gonna say
Well,
that.
I
That's
was
what I was
Harlem,
gonna say.
because
Oh,
it
you
is
meant New York City. Sorry.
That's what I
it
was
is a-
referencing.
because
That
it is a
school has
choice
100% college acceptance rate. 100%.
There is literally video of parents at the selection process because it's a blind lottery to get
It's a
in.
lottery, yeah.
Right? There are parents who literally break down in tears because their child did not win the lottery to get in. And nobody would ever guess the number one performing school that has a 99% graduation rate, 100% acceptance rate to college, to choice colleges, not, oh, they got into a college, but they, out of their top 3 choices, they got in 100% of the time they get in, is in Harlem.
Wow.
And when that school tried to open second schools, they tried to open a second,
Shut down
a
by
third,
you.
a fourth. They are currently tied up with legislation because the teachers union in that state is suing the shit out of them because they fire bad teachers.
But they
So
also
when we
have
talk
to be
about
willing-
education, super quick, Band. When we
Yeah.
talk about education, one of the things that drives me nuts is it's not just about like get more money to the schools. Because again, I think this is the left's cure for everything. Like, let's just get more money
Get
there.
more
Let's
money.
spend more money. Let's throw money at it. But it's also the teachers union is a massive problem in our schools. And I think more people, I would hope, need to learn to recognize this, but it is an issue, a huge issue. And it's way too powerful politically, in my opinion.
And I did
agree.
a video on that talking
I just
about
want
how
to say
much.
that I have to go. I have an
Nice to
event.
meet you,
I
Joelle.
usually
I
am not
gotta-
this dolled up.
I gotta jump too.
But
I
I
gotta.
love you guys. Pleasure meeting
Bye.
you guys.
Nice
Bye.
to meet you guys.
Appreciate you.
All right. Because I did a video on the power of the teachers union and how it's got to stop. Because let's remember, when they opened files on parents with the FBI, that's because the teachers unions called for that to happen.
Mhm.
They have way too much power. And when you look at the cost differentials for education, the Catholic, whether you believe, again, I don't give a fuck about religious belief. The Catholic schools have disproven that whole fact about throw more money at it.
Yeah.
Well, it's allocation of funds. It's not a lack of funds. It's how they're allocating the funds.
And it
And-
requires the biggest thing, though, just real quick, the biggest thing that was left out of what Joe was saying about that school, because that's the school I was referencing, is the commitment to the students by the teachers, right? There is a level that the teachers that are at that school will sacrifice certain things. And they'll tell you, I watched the interviews of them saying that, look, they don't get paid like high salaries because it is where they get their money from, but they go out of their way to make sure and always put the student first. And that's what we don't see in our schools today.
Mm-mm.
Hi, political.
Well, that's because
Thanks for joining.
the children aren't first. The message is first.
Right.
Right. No, the teacher unions is a big problem. And one thing I wanted to touch on earlier, you guys were talking about being in California. And Joelle left, so she can't chime in on this. But Gavin Newsom has actively attacked anybody that goes to a school board meeting and goes to like a city hall meeting, saying that they basically made a law that if they deem you unruly or disruptive, that they could remove you just for that reason. So that's the future that they want, and that's the where Kamala Harris has come from. So I mean, if we want to push that, push that whole thing with what they want, they don't want parents to have any rights or use a right.
Is he cutting out for else?
Even though that's a direct violation of the Constitution, and it's actually been ruled on by the Supreme Court that you can go there and be as disruptive and as critical and as nasty as you want to those people because they're elected positions.
But they don't care about the Constitution.
I need to look up on that again, but go ahead.
You're going in and out. You're super crackly.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say they don't care about the Constitution. They've made that clear. Oh. I mean, they're going after your First Amendment right, your Second Amendment right. They're going after due process. They're going after all of these things. I mean, they don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about states' rights. That literally, there's not a part of the Constitution that they aren't actively trying to violate.
So I do have to dip out of here. I'm leaving town in like less than 48 hours, but Joe, I appreciate this. I think this would be valuable because again, it's way less chaotic. I feel like we can have an actual cohesive conversation. It's chill. I think it's a good way to disseminate information and just spark thought for people. So I'm up for doing this weekly if you are, Joe, and we can keep it pushing, but I will be.
And I would love to set this up for specific topics as well.
Right.
Like,
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to have an economic discussion, or we're going to have an immigration discussion, or women's rights, or whatever. Like, we can set this up for whatever you want. I love hosting these. I love having people. And here's the thing: I'd be totally down for having people from the other side of the aisle as well.
Yeah.
You know, people who are like completely against what we're against. The benefit is on here, you can't just mass report and take someone down. We have the ability to say what we want. It's going to be maintained. And that's one of the wonderful things about the way of doing this. And I will tell you all, like, people talk about, like, I don't know what people get on their TikTok lives. I know people are like, oh, I got 1,000 people on my TikTok live. I know you guys can't see it unless you're on multiple platforms, but we have had an average of 2,700 people in this discussion.
I love it.
We are currently at 3,367 people watching this discussion.
And that's because it wasn't marketed.
No,
if we did
Logic alerted me to this a long time ago, and I did the classic thing that I do where I wait until the last fucking second to say anything. So that's completely on me. Logic had this set up long beforehand, and I was like, let me make this as problematic as possible.
Well, so maybe we do Sunday nights, because I do think a lot of us typically, I don't make plans on Sunday nights because I'm like, I got to get ready for the week. So I'm usually around the house. But if you set, like, if we do, again, whatever time works, Joe, we can talk about that. But then people will know to just continue to come back weekly to check it out. I could join a little bit next weekend live from DC if you guys want to see the rally and what's going on there.
Absolutely.
And just do like a quick check-in. But I'm super excited. So I appreciate you guys. If you're watching Logic and Liberty on TikTok, on X, I'm Logic and Liberty, but 3 for the E if you want to find me on there. I appreciate you all. Thank you for the awesome discussion. You guys are legends. And we'll catch you next time.
Have a good
See you later, Logic.
You have a good work, Logic.
And I will say that, just so you know, people in the chat, if you guys have liberal friends who would like to have a word on this point of view, I'm not opposed to sending them an invite. Like, I'm not opposed to sending them an invite. They can come up here and fight with these people. It's perfectly fine. I mean, as you all know, I'm very unbiased about the way I talk. I can't even say that with a straight face. But my thing is that, like, if you guys have people who you think would be good for this discussion, whether they're liberal, whether they're conservative, you are welcome just to tell me. I will give them an invite. They can come in here and have a discussion. This is not limited to just conservatives. Like, obviously today it was, just because we're trying this out to see how the format works. But if you've got one of those friends who's a fucking idiot and is voting Kamala, I'm happy to bring them up.
Yeah, and I know we can reach a lot of people on the platform just from the numbers we pulled from the debate.
Yeah, the debate. We're pulling better numbers now than we did during the debate.
Yeah. So
wait. Actually, wait. During the debate, during the
during the
debate, we had
debate, we
like,
were with 20 grand.
my bad. We had almost 25,000 people in
Yeah,
the
we
debate.
had a lot in the debate.
We need to figure. I
They
need to
shut you
figure out
guys
how to
down,
work
though.
this.
What's that?
Did TikTok shut you down? We were covering that.
No. We streamed the debate on what, X and YouTube. We did the first debate. We did the Trump Biden debate. We were supposed to do the Kamala Trump debate, but he was in California, and the change in time fucked it up with his convention that he was at.
Right.
Yeah. I tried to do but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm really glad I didn't stream that debate because here's the thing. I turned it on a couple times. Look, there's no other way to put this. That bitch's voice annoys me. I can't do it. Just her voice of I can't.
And her
bro,
cackle.
Was
Her
that Lindsay
cackle
Davis?
is the worst.
No, Kamala.
Oh, you're talking about Kamala. I'm
How
sorry.
you all
Yeah,
of a
just
sudden
wait.
skipping
Hold on, wait. Anthony, can you do me a favor and leave and come back? Your audio is awful right now.
All right.
And you make great points. I just want to be able to be able to hear you. But your audio is cutting out hard, man.
I went and got my AirPods because I thought it was me.
No, you're good. He was just cutting out really hard. And I mean, and I love his points. He's a very intelligent dude. I love his content. I was like, shit, we gotta just drop out and come back. It's just so we can hear you. But so hold on. So the new person on here, political education, you said you've been doing this for 19 years?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Can you explain what have you been doing for 19 years?
So I actually started getting involved in politics at 14, just of my own choice. Decided to go and page for my state senator one day, and then that led to me getting involved with the Republican Party. I started a teenage Republican chapter, did college Republicans, young Republicans, whole 9 yards. I've served in a lot of different elected offices within the Republican Party, managed campaigns, you name it. So I've worked on campaigns in about 8 separate states at this point. It's been a long road, and only being 33, I've done more in politics than I think most of the consultants on the presidential campaigns have done.
Yeah, I
Somebody
agree.
said, "Can we challenge Harry to a boxing match?" I would fucking love to, but I weigh 225. What's he about? $104.
He weighs less than me.
I'd love
for
to punch
sure.
fucking head.
Well, the thing is that we got that political punches. So we got political punches. And I'm going to be honest, when I look at the matches, there's only one person who has a harder match than me. Because I'd be fighting Jolly Good Ginger. And that, here's the thing. I don't think he's a good fighter. I don't think he's got cardio or anything like that. But that's a big motherfucker, right? So that, fat boys can get you on the chin. Shit gets over quick, right? The only person I think that has a harder match is whoever's matching up against Good Trouble. Because while I think Good Trouble is a bitch-made motherfucker, he's also, he's built. He's fit dude. I will never take that away from Good Trouble. Obviously he fucking loves sucking cock, but he's built pretty well. He's definitely a top.
Yeah, because I used to fight, right? And I've bodyguarded for some pretty big names when I was younger, and I grew up fighting. I love to fight. That's one of the reasons why I quit drinking, because I was really fucking good at it. But I'm not in any of those matches that he's got squared up. I'm like, look, I'll fight a dude that's 20 and I'm 55.
See, that's why I avoid drugs, because drugs make me break out in handcuffs, and it's I'm allergic. And by the way, Cotton Balls, if you want to join, shoot me a DM, bro. I'll shoot you the invite link.
It was actually kind of funny because in 2020, I forget, because there used to be a whole lot more conservative content creators than there are now. After 2020, everyone just quit. But there was one that actually had a boxing match set up with Harry, but then the day of, he dipped out and decided not to do it.
I just wanted to see the Bryce Hall one.
Yeah,
that would be fucking.
Is it going to be
that would be absolutely hilarious.
Wait, did you guys did you guys see that Dean challenged Bryce Hall?
No.
So Dean made a video where he said, hey, look, I know you've challenged Harry, but I got a little more screws loose, so I'm willing to fight you. And Bryce's video was his video. He literally was like, I don't even know who the fuck you are, but like tomato, you look like him. Sure, I'll fuck you up. Yeah, and he was like, yeah, let's do it. I'll just DM you. Like, so Dean said he would fight Bryce, which like hold on. I doubt Dean is watching, but there's got to be at least some people who follow Dean watching. Guys, I want you to look at Dean, and then I want you to go watch Bryce's bare knuckle fight against a professional fighter. Like, guys, like, here's the thing. If you like Dean, if that, like, I would love to watch him get fucked up. But if you like Dean, send him that video because Bryce is going to beat the shit out of him.
Oh, I agree.
Honestly, though, that goes back to one of your earlier points about bullying being good. I think that some of these liberals really just need their shit rocked one good time, and it might break them out of it.
Dude, I was bullied relentlessly. When I was a kid, I was tiny. I mean, when I was a freshman in high school, I was 4'9". And then I grew and I was like 5'8", and I weighed like $120. I remember my dad bought me a 20 gauge shotgun, and I'm holding it and it's bigger than I am. But I excelled at football. I was fast. I could slam dunk a volleyball at 5'9", but I just couldn't do a basketball because I couldn't hold it. Then I started lifting and I got in, but I was bullied relentlessly. And I had one bully jumped on my back and I lost my shit. And I went off and I ended up getting suspended. My dad said, I'm not going to ground you. You knew fighting was wrong, but what you did was right? You were defending yourself. From that point on, I was hell-bent. Nobody's ever going to fucking do that to me again. And it's made me where I am and what I am and how I behave and how I act and what I do. I 100% believe in bullying.
Well, I feel like kids learn a lot from their peers. And like, for instance, since they've done away with all of the bullying, the kids like wearing deodorant and brushing their teeth and like showering and brushing their hair. They whenever you're leaving for school in the mornings and you're telling the kids, like you got it, we're not leaving until you do these things. They need to bring that back. They're not telling the kids you stink so that they start wearing deodorant. They're not going to do it when the parents are saying it. It's when it comes from their peers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even something as simple as telling someone to get a haircut that they look like an idiot with that haircut may need to be something that's more commonplace.
Yeah, but I mean, but I mean, I think we can go to the point where we say, hey, like if we get involved to the point where we tell people their haircut sucks, we should be able to go back to the point where we tell our 14-year-old friend, say, hey, don't chop your dick off.
Yeah. Because look, I'll be honest with you, like, see with Joe, right? I get Joe's personality. Depending upon how I was when I was younger, Joe and I might have had problems. We might have had beef. The thing is, we would have gone outside. Somebody would have gotten fucking rocked.
We would have sorted that shit out.
And then at the end,
and it would have been fine.
Buddies for the rest of our fucking lives. They don't do
that
anymore.
But that was the thing is like people forget that like when I was in the Army, like I was in that in between, right? I joined in 2003, and because we were at war, we were still back in that older, like there was a lot of older NCOs, right? You had them old grizzled ass NCOs, the guy that's been at E6 for 16 years because he got demoted twice because he fucked somebody up, right? And when you had beef, they were like, step outside. And you were like, let's square the fuck up and sort this out. And then you also, but the problem is I also ran into it that when I became an NCO, this is like 2008, I started running into the, oh, you can't do that type of soldier. And it was like, let's go to Iraq and I'll tell you what the fuck I can't do. Like, but like we would identify them. We would like we would take all the bitch made motherfuckers and put them on one team. And we would send them to the worst fucking place possible. Because it was like it would be like, hold on, we got three teams to send out. We got one that we're sending to Kandahar. They're gonna chill, they're gonna be the ops unit. We got one we're sending to Bagram. They're going to be the control unit. And then we got to send some motherfuckers out to JBAD, right? Where you're getting rocketed and mortared every fucking day. I can tell you that every bitch-made motherfucker everybody who wouldn't step outside, every soldier who ever said, you can't do that, I need my time. It's like, bro, you go into JBAD. Like, enjoy your time. Like, you won't go out, step outside and fight. hug this rocket, bitch. We'll see how it works out.
All right, we don't get enough loud. I agree with political education, though. Like these guys, like Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan till they get punched in the face, right?
Get punched in the face, 100%.
Right. And Bryce Hall, yeah, he would totally screw Dean up. He'd take him to school. Did you see that video he put out where he debates 20 Trump supporters and he gets wrecked by every single one of them?
Well, because
I'm gonna be honest, I'm mad at Bryce Hall and a couple of the people from the Trump administration because I was in
California.
LA. I was in LA. Just happened to be in LA.
Yeah, but
and
did they know
Trump
ahead of
comes up
time?
to LA and does a whole fucking rally. Nobody told me that I'm 30 minutes down the street. I live on the other side of the country, but I'm 30 minutes down the street. Nobody told me. And then they go to Vegas the next day. And my buddy Bo, who is just a wonderful dude, Bo's a fucking phenomenal dude. He texts me and goes, "Hey, it was a great rally in Vegas last night." I was like, "Bitch, I'm in LA." I would have flown to Vegas because I saw Bryce Hall go up on stage. And I was like, "Look, I love Bryce. I love that he's on the conservative side, but he ain't put in the work like I did."
Right.
I don't want to get caught up on stage and I want to tell Kamala to go fuck herself.
I agree. But they didn't know you were in California. That's kind of part of the problem.
Yeah,
too.
but that's why I told Bo, I'm like, message me, man. Like, what is it? It's a 1 hour flight over to Vegas.
Easy.
And
yeah.
oh no, I have to spend the night in Vegas. That would just be terrible.
Yeah, that would be horrible. I don't even think I need to get a fucking room in Vegas.
Well, where do you think I'm going for my birthday? I know where I'm going for my birthday. I'm going to Vegas.
Yeah, you want to know what's shitty? My birthday is next week. I'm going to be in fucking Tulsa, then Kansas City.
Hold up. My fiance's from Oklahoma. Don't hate on fucking Oklahoma.
Well, I'm
Don't
taking
hate on Tulsa either.
I'm gonna
fucking around. Even Sylvester Stallone will kick your ass over that.
Isn't that SK's? Isn't that where she's at?
Yeah, Matt. I'm gonna take Mag and Meg to dinner when I'm up there. Her and her husband.
Well, look, here's the thing. I'll tell you, a very expensive dinner in Tulsa is a cool $60. You're
well,
fine.
that's what I told her. She's like, I said, you're
not
gonna have to
true.
pick the restaurant. And she's like, well, where? I go, look, trust me, you're not going to outspend me in Tulsa. Just fucking pick a restaurant.
I'll be honest though. Here's the thing. Here's the thing that most people don't know about Oklahoma. So Oklahoma is such a unique state. SK, you're from Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's why Oklahoma is such a gangster state. Most people don't know this, but Oklahoma, every city in Oklahoma is founded by hookers. Right. And I know that sounds wait. Let me explain.
Ain't lying.
Wait, let me explain. So what happened is people, the Sooners jumped out there, right? They left too soon. They went out there. That's where you get the name the Sooners, right? But what happened is all these miners jumped out and went west, right? And the difference is that they were all making very minuscule amounts of money. It wasn't a bunch. But the people that were making the money was the people that were east. The prostitutes who left east and went with them, they were holding, like at these little mining towns, they were holding back then what was called underwear shows, which was you didn't even see the woman. She would just behind a curtain would just dangle her underwear, and men were paying for that. They made so much money from it that the women actually ended up going ahead of the men. And they would literally, you would have these women who made so much money that they went there and they brought a couple other less performing ones with them. And they said, hey, take this money, open a bar, take this money, open a store, take this money, open a gun shop. And they set up towns, and the entire towns were owned by prostitutes.
Yep.
Because they were
This
the
is
ones
like
with
the
money.
1800s version of OnlyFans, Joe.
This sounds like Lonesome Dove.
And then even better, here's how it translated. So when Oklahoma talked about becoming part of the United States, right? They were the only state, because everything at the time, the men were in charge of the state, but the women owned everything. They owned all the shit. So when Oklahoma became a part of the United States, the one stipulation from Oklahoma was women have equal voting rights in our state. That is the only way we'll become a state, because women owned everything. Men didn't own shit at the time. Women let the men be in power for the look, but they owned everything.
Right.
So when Oklahoma became a state, it was the only state that when it joined the union, women had equal voting rights in the state, because they fucking owned everything. It was so gangster.
They
Literally,
still do.
Oklahoma is founded by fucking hookers, by gangster ass hookers.
Well, they
Joe,
did
I
the
hate
same
to-
thing with the Wyoming territory. I mean, there were a lot of women from Oklahoma when Wyoming became a territory and they started doing mining and stuff out there, and they set it up in almost the exact same way.
Yes.
So, right about the time that Wyoming became a state, pretty much everything in Wyoming was owned by prostitutes. Even some of the mines were owned by prostitutes. They were some of the richest people in the world. They just didn't get recognition by the federal government.
Because,
How do they
because
call
the
it? No
only-
man's
the only
land?
reason- well, hold on, wait. The only reason it didn't happen in Wyoming is because they didn't recognize they could do that. Like the women there didn't push it. They just liked to own everything. But in Oklahoma, they were like, bitches, we ain't becoming part of the US unless we can vote, because they want. And here's the cool thing about Oklahoma. In Oklahoma right now, it is the largest collection of women business owners in the country.
Yep.
Hey, look, Joe, I hate to dip, but I got to go change some bandages on my wife. Yeah, see my
Oh,
dog.
good. I get it.
On
I
mute.
get it. Look,
How's your wife
look,
doing,
Beard.
Beard?
Beard, look,
She's
if you're
doing
gonna
better.
beat her, you got to bandage her.
Well, it's funny because she actually went out today and some of the dog bites were on her face. And so she's got these huge bruises on her face. And I said, great, you're going to be going to this event where all these parents and kids are going to be like, oh my God, her husband beats the shit out of her.
And honestly, they take one look at you, they'd be like, he does.
Exactly. He's the dude that would do it. All right. We'll see y'all later. Have a good night.
All right, Beard.
Later, brother.
Love
Later,
your
brother.
content, dude.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
See you later.
But yeah, I mean, that's the wild thing. Like Oklahoma's a gangster ass state.
It really is. And if
Like,
Van
because my
Beard's still
fiance is
listening,
from Oklahoma, and I had to tell her that. Like, the weird thing is, Oklahoma history doesn't teach that.
So is
well,
SK a gangster?
it kind of
No,
does.
but I mean, here's the thing: like, if your state's founded by people who fuck their way to prosperity, like that's awesome. Like, here's the thing: like, if my state was founded by people who was the most powerful woman in Oklahoma? The woman who could fucking put her ankles behind her head.
Well, we can't tax our way to prosperity, but we could do something else, right? We could fuck our way there.
I mean, let's be real. Like the number one business in Oklahoma like if Oklahoma was founded today, there'd be 20 Pilates studios on every street. Just saying.
But you realize with all the Native Americans here, everything in Native American culture is matriarchal. The women
Yes.
run everything.
And that's why Oklahoma did not displace their Native Americans, because the women came in and owned shit and actually met with the matriarchy of the Native Americans there and said, let's work together to make this. That's why, like, you look at the Native Americans in Oklahoma, they're not on fucking reservations. They have the best fucking land in Oklahoma. Their shit is amazing. Like, if you drive through Oklahoma and you're like, this is really pretty, it's fucking Native American land, because the shit the white people built looks like garbage, right? And that's the wonderful thing. Where people are like, women could rule the world. I'm like, sure they could. Like, Oklahoma proves it.
Yeah,
Yep.
the term Okie doesn't refer to the Native Americans from there at all. No.
Like, here's the thing: if liberal women really wanted to win the election, they would be like "I'll bang you for a vote" type of shit. Men would do it. Men would do it.
Well, I mean, technically
but-
speaking, they already do, because that's why so
Yeah,
many young
you have to have
men
blue hair,
are
right?
out there with their opinions.
Look, there were plenty of men wearing pussy hats at fucking parades. They weren't doing it because they believe in women's rights. They were doing it because they wanted to get laid that night.
Oh, man.
I had to walk through that mess the day after Trump's inauguration in 2016. I was trying to take my little brother to the National Archives. We were stuck on a train going from Fairfax to DC. None of them were wearing deodorant. None of them had showered. It was absolutely miserable.
Oh, God. It smelled
probably
worse
all
than
have-
Woodstock. It smelled worse than the original Woodstock, I imagine.
I bet that the original Woodstock would have smelled better, because at least there would have been a breeze.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
I love somebody said, what was it? Shayna said, I'm convinced OM is a walking encyclopedia. No, I grew up as a dork, so I fucking learned a lot. Like I
I
was a
read a lot.
nerd. I was a fucking nerd, so I was like, I'm gonna like you can't imagine what dating for me was like when I was young. Dating for me when I was young was like, let me amaze you with my knowledge. She was like, my shit's never been so dry. It was like it's not the way it works.
Well, I mean, it's just like, when y'all were talking about Project 2025 earlier, I got this in March of 2023, right after they published it, and read
Wait,
it because I knew it was going to be an
you have
issue.
like
Tell
a really
us.
nice printed version. I have
Can
a
you?
printed out version.
I
Well,
have a
this
PDF.
is the hard copy. They sold out of these.
So
Wow,
this is
sold
like
out, huh?
you went to
Wow.
Barnes and Noble. Like
No, I went directly to the Heritage Foundation
You
website,
can.
paid $30 for it. That was it.
the best part is anytime people ask me how I do research, and when I hear a liberal say something, I'll start to look it up. And the best part is that anytime I look up a topic where a liberal says something that's fucking stupid, and I just take their
90% of the
statement and put it on Google, there's always a Heritage Foundation link telling me why they're fucking stupid. But then I have to read the Heritage Foundation, and then I have to fact check it against the people that believe in being able to exist in your life without work. So it's I have to compare it because the Heritage Foundation is just like, well, yeah, this could be true if you're fucking retarded. I'm like, that doesn't help me with this argument. Like
Hey,
Heritage Foundation is assholes about the way they do
Yeah,
it.
if your brain's made of
hey.
oatmeal, it might be applicable. Go ahead, SK.
Well, I was going to ask political. I know you've read Project 2025. I've read most all. I'm sure by this point I've read all of it because I spent like 2 weeks in a row having liberals come up on the panel and tell me what they thought was bad about Project 2025 and then looking it up. Do you know all of the connections with Mark Elias and the People's Guide to Project 2025 and where all these talking points have come from and all of those kinds of things? Okay, well, I figured you probably would know, but I didn't know. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are watching that have no idea about the connections with Mark Elias, who was one of the people from the Perkins Coie law firm with the whole Steele dossier and all that. He's the one that sues all these states over the voting laws. And I mean, he's like the go-to guy for election interference.
Mark Elias is the DNC's lawyer that
Well,
they
not
use
anymore.
he's pretty much the dog that they sick on anyone that they couldn't go after front facing. So like if they don't want to seem like they're attached to it, they'll just send a note over to Mark and say, hey, go after these people. And they've done that with Heritage. And I hate what they have done to the Heritage Foundation because I've been on their mailing list since I was in high school. My grandpa actually donated to him some when I was little. So I've known about the Heritage Foundation for a long, long time. They've done some good work. They've done some things that I don't necessarily agree with at times because they kind of move with the way the political direction is going. But the fact that they would attack a policy organization the way that they have, which I mean is inherently a nonpartisan organization, even though they tend to lean more towards conservative policy, really just irritates me. But the fact that Mark Elias has done so much of what he has going after conservatives, going after Donald Trump, really does make me wish that, maybe someone should pull his bar.
I was muted. I didn't know. I was saying, yeah, good luck with that. I mean, the prosecutor is in immunity and all.
But I think we'll do really good with this. Like when we have future ones of these and we have like specific topics, where you come in and because like I want to host these and then I want to host them where it's a Q&A, right? Like I want to bring in where it's like four of us and then like four of we'll just say them, right? Now them motherfuckers, right?
Those
And then I'll change their name instead of saying their name. We'll say stupid motherfucker 1, stupid motherfucker 2. But I want to be able to like bring an equal amount of us into this and just go through and let everybody respond to it. Because here's the thing: is like I look at this very differently than liberals do, where I think that we will always win in the arena of ideas, in the arena of argument, in the arena of facts. Whereas they, like if a good example is like you look at people like Harry, Dean, Parker, they never respond to anyone.
No, they
They
don't.
win their arguments by saying their bullshit, unadulterated, unfiltered, with facts.
It's
Whereas, like,
emotional word salad.
no, but that's the thing is like people always ask me why most of my content is response oriented because I don't want my information in a vacuum. What I want is I want to take their argument. I want to let them say their piece and then I want to be like, okay, I'm going to treat your opinion like a toilet. I'm going to fucking shit directly into it. Right? And that's the way to do it where like and I think that's where political, I think that's where you might have a little trouble is you put out information, right? You put out direct information. It's fucking wonderful. You communicate it really well. But the problem is when you put out that information, you're not fighting against idiots. You're fighting against people not being educated. And the problem is that people will never admit that they're not educated, right? Like if I ask someone, hey, do you know about the economy? They would go, yeah, right? But here's the thing. If I gave them a specific proposal on the economy, and then I said, what do you know about this? They'd be like, duh, 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 right? And that's where the argument is online. It's about helping people understand what they're dumb about that they think they're intelligent about.
Well, and that's the thing, though. We're living in the generation where everybody got a participation trophy, right? So they're made to believe they've won something when they've lost.
Hold
right?
on, wait, Anthony, hold on, wait. I argue this all the time. Are you Gen X or millennial?
I'm 38, so I guess I'm technically a millennial.
You're
Yeah.
a millennial. But here's the thing, because I hear this from Gen X all the time. Gen X is like, this generation was given participation trophies. It's like, hold on a second. They didn't buy the fucking trophies. Gen X and millennials are their parents. We bought them the fucking trophies. We are not responsible. Like here's the thing. Generation, what's the generation after us? Is it Y?
Z.
Z.
Z, and then
Z
I don't know what the other one's
got
called.
participation
And then
trophies because
Alpha.
Gen X and millennials
Alpha,
bought
yeah.
them fucking trophies. Like we are responsible for our own downfall. We like millennials, myself, like I'm an older millennial, I'm almost Gen X. You are too, like we're close.
Yeah.
It is our fault that Generation Z is a
Yep.
bunch of bitches.
It was overcompensation.
We made you, Harry. We made Harry Sisson,
No,
guys.
but hold on, but that's the reality is that people have to accept is they go, oh my God, Gen Z got participation trophies. Who bought the trophies, motherfucker?
Yeah.
It was millennials and Gen X because
Well-
Gen X lived in a life where they were like, we don't have to care about anything because we've seen such advancements in our life. It's going to keep getting better. We're going to make sure our children have a great life. And that Gen X made, this is my issue with Gen X. If you're Gen X, go fuck yourself because my issue with Gen X is y'all made a generation of bitch-made motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And then you proceeded to talk shit on those bitch-made motherfuckers.
But
Yeah.
it's
Who raised us? Sorry, SK. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like it's overcompensation because the ones that were raised by the boomers, I feel like because they were kind of latchkey kids and your parents weren't probably quite as involved and things like that. So I think it's overcompensation. So then by the time, Gen X was having kids, they were coddling them more and being more present and, doing all these things like not enforcing rules and giving consequences.
What boomers were really good at is a term that I've heard recently called useful negligence. Boomer parents were very usefully negligent.
Laissez-faire. Yeah,
Yes, they were like, look, as long as you make it back every night, I
It was
know you're
survival of the
alive.
fittest. Yeah.
Like, here's the thing: as a kid, I could have came home bleeding, and they would have been like, "Was it a good day? Were you okay?" And that would have been it. It'd be like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
Rub some dirt on it.
Rub some dirt on it, bro. Yeah.
But Gen X, the tough people, the people who don't care, they were the parents when their child came home bleeding, pressed fucking charges against the kid that dared them to go up the bike ramp. And it was like, I'm sorry, but we only have our current generation of bitch ass kids because Gen X is known for not giving a fuck. And the problem is they carried their not give a fuck all the way to their kids, and they were willing to be their kids' friends. So if you want to know why we have a generation of shitty fucking children who are retarded, and by retarded, I mean they vote Democrat. I don't mean retarded in the actual sense.
I don't know. Some of them actually are.
Well,
But
the thing is, though, they've made retarded. Retarded used to be okay to say, you know. It's because
yeah,
it's
I'm
been
sorry.
perverted, right?
Gen X is to blame. Gen
Yeah.
X is one of the coolest generations ever to exist. Gen X is also the greatest collection of shitty fucking parents in history. Gen X, hold on, I'm going to say this is going to be even worse. Gen X, if we were to measure you, like as far as parents, you are the Hitler of parents.
Wow, we could actually say Hitler on here. That's insane.
And I'm not and I'm not sure whether I should be offended or not because I'm technically not Gen X. I'm like on the line, but I was raised by boomer parents and my siblings are all Gen X, so I like more identify with Gen X, but
Yeah. I got two older
Wait,
brothers.
I do have to point out there's somebody in the chat whose screen name is Gen Xer fuck around and find out. He said, bullshit, dude. My kid comes home fucked up. They're on their own. Yes. Here's the thing. Hold on. This is just like when I argue with single mothers, and I'm like 80% of the rapists in the country come from a single mother household. They're like, my child hasn't raped anyone. Yes. I'm positive that everyone in the chat right now is the best fucking Gen X parent that ever existed. And I'm not talking about you because it doesn't apply to you. But I have to recognize that Gen Z was raised by Gen X. And y'all are the coolest generation. You got the best fucking music. You got some of the best attitudes. And you are the worst fucking parents to have ever existed in American history.
See, I had a very unique experience because one of my parents is at the tail end of the baby boomers, and the other parent is at the front end of Gen X. So, but the personality difference between the two of them could not be any difference. And there's only 3 years between my parents, but it's just something about being born sort of in that time period where my father, who is a baby boomer, is extremely laissez-faire. And then my mother, who is Gen X, was very much, you know, I want to have a conversation with you every day for an hour and a half about how your day went. And I'm just like, can I play video games, please?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
My mom, we'd be outside.
Everyone is racist in a Call of Duty lobby.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. No, my mom, we go play out war and throwing dirt rocks at each other's faces for like 5 hours and get lost. And as long as we made it home before dinner, like it was okay. Like I have my older brother coming out searching for me for 2 hours, following our footprints, like he's tracking us like we're in war. You know, it's insane. But no, it's like you were saying earlier though. Like these liberals that come in and they're not educated on a subject. I'm not educated on everything, and I admit it when I'm not. But it's sort of like the kids that were posers. Like, you know, if you liked a certain band, they're like, have you heard of AC/DC? They're like, yeah, I listen to them all the time. It's like everybody's just posers. They're all a bunch of posers, man. And that's the problem, man. They think they know everything, and they've been taught that they know everything, right? And they put their feelings before everything else. And, you know, it is a problem for sure.
Well, I remember when I was younger, I got a Pennywise t-shirt. Like y'all remember Pennywise the band, not right? So like I got a Pennywise t-shirt and I got my ass kicked because I had a Pennywise t-shirt trying to be cool, but I didn't know who the fuck they were. I just thought the t-shirt was cool and I wanted to be cool. And I got my ass kicked for that. Like I was at the arcade at the mall rocking my Pennywise t-shirt thinking I was a bad motherfucker. And then I had other kids ask me about their songs. Let me just tell you right now that Pennywise fans, like at the time I was listening to NSYNC and Pennywise fans didn't fuck around. So I got my ass whooped. Yeah. And I was like, at least my Pennywise t-shirt got blood on it now. Now I'm a gangster.
Yeah. Now it's worth more, right? You were more punk rock than those kids were that beat your ass for it. You know, they ignited.
Well, I was more punked into the rocks than they were.
Yeah.
But Anthony and Joe, you talking about sort of just spouting the facts and whatnot to people. That's something that I've been trying to work on. Just in the past few months, I read a book called The Righteous Mind by a gentleman named Jonathan Haidt, who is a hardcore liberal. But he actually did a study about how people respond to things emotionally and what different groups of people care about psychologically, and he broke it down to 7 moral values that everyone cares about. And those of us that are on the conservative side tend to align more with justice and a couple other things, while the people on the liberal side tend to align more with things that are a little bit more emotional. And that's one of the things that at least I've been trying to work on, is trying to make things appeal to people more emotionally, because come to find out, unlike some of us whose brains function without emotion, the rest of society doesn't do so. So, and I would say this for conservative politicians in general, do a very bad job of appealing to people at an emotional level. And it's something that we've got to do better get better at doing.
Yeah, but I mean, the truth is, like, I was going to make a video. I'm still going to make a video about this, but I was going to talk about it. I was going to say it's very easy to prove that the Republican Party is the party of unity and the Democrat Party is the party of division. And the reason we can say that is because if everybody in America, whether you're black, white, man, woman, Asian, doesn't fucking matter, right? If everybody in America were to just identify as American, if all we cared about was problems that affected all Americans, right? We cared about the economy. We cared about security at our border. We cared about foreign relations. We cared about keeping out of wars. We cared about spending less. We cared about downsizing government. We cared about the things that were actually going to make America better. If that's all we cared about, if all we focused on was things that affect all Americans, the Democrats wouldn't have a fucking prayer, right? But the way it works is that is how the Republican Party does it. They look at what affects all Americans and they say, this is what we're going to focus on, because in their minds they go, we're making America better for everyone. Now, the way the Democrat Party works is they say, what does black America care about? What do black women, what do black men care about? What does the transgender, what does the gay community, what does the male, the female, what does the Asian community? And they make it about social issues that affect certain groups.
Right.
And that is their entire pitch.
Well,
but that's division at its most, because the only way the Democrat Party could ever appeal to anyone is by dividing you up into other groups. Because if everybody only cared about things that affect all Americans, there wouldn't be a Democrat Party.
Well, they need people to feel like victims to be relevant, right?
No,
Otherwise, they'd
but
have
not
them out.
even, not even making it about victims.
But the problem is, and I say this multiple times when I'm on live every single day, they zoom in on these, micro issues instead of zooming out and looking at like the satellite view of the country. And that's what I try and tell people when they get in the boxes and they start bringing up all these little tiny like micro issues that don't affect the country like as a whole in a major way. And I'm like, zoom out, look at the satellite view of the country, the economy, the border, our safety, these, foreign policies, things that are going on overseas. Who's going to be able to sit down and negotiate with these foreign leaders better? Do you think it's going to be Donald Trump, or do you think it's going to be Kamala Harris? I mean, Donald Trump's been negotiating deals his entire adult life. Nobody looks at the big picture. They don't look at the economy and our safety, our military, making sure that we, have the strongest military so that it's a deterrent. No, people don't mess with us for those reasons. They talk about the wanting to take away, ARs and things like that, when they're not looking at the big picture here. You've got other European countries that are usually very calm and don't get involved in conflict, that are making sure that their citizens are armed, telling them you need to go out and arm yourself because of what's going on overseas. I mean, you have peaceful nation, Sweden, Switzerland, places like this, the citizens are arming themselves. And then you have the United States, where they're trying to take your 2A rights away. They're trying to do all these things. They're trying to make you focus on trans issues or LGBT, issues as a whole, the race issues. They're focusing on these little tiny things, and they're not looking at the big picture. What you identify as isn't going to matter if our economy is in the toilet, if there is war on our soil, or if we're sending all of our money overseas. It's not going to matter. Period.
But that's so wonderful. Let me give you a quick talking point with that. Because the beautiful thing is that what I've started doing with people, because I've started to ask them, I've said, I will ask people directly. I would say, what is Kamala or Trump going to do for you? And the minute they go, well, as a black woman or as a man or as this, right? I go, no. That's not what I was asking you.
Yeah.
I was asking you, I stop them and I go, no, as an American, what is Donald Trump or Kamala Harris going to do for you? And it's amazing to watch. Like, we've all seen The Matrix, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's amazing to watch, like, the fucking Matrix rewrite that happens in their head when you say that. Because when they go, well, as an American, they fucking, it's a 404 error, right?
Yep.
They just freeze because they go, well, as an American, because they'll go, well, as an American, and they'll just fucking freeze. And then
Yep.
After they freeze for a little bit, I go, no, you're an American. You have all the rights of everyone else around you. So as that American, as somebody who is more privileged than anyone else on this planet, what do you want from your leader? And they are fucking lost because they were so intent on arguing as their little group that the Democrats have put them in. And now once you expand them and say, well, hold on, you are an American who has to live here and has to have your children exist in this world. What do you want best? And they are fucked. I love watching it happen.
Yep.
Well,
it
and a lot
happens
of that,
on a daily basis.
Yeah, SK, you do a great job debating these people and keeping your patience. And I know sometimes I come in there and I just start rip roaring, and I'm like, man, I'm probably pissing you guys off right now. But you do a great
Listen.
job addressing them and doing that. And I think that what we felt from, Joe, is you and I mean, we were taught to look at each other as equal growing up, no matter your race, color, religion. It was the giant melting pot. And it's been a complete 180. Now they want everybody to feel victimized and put on a pedestal. Right. And it's just insane that it's been a complete 180. Like I was taught to look at everybody as colorless and equal.
Well, no, but that's
And
this is about 40 years in the making.
The Democrat Party is that we all recognize that we're equal. Like if everybody in America saw themselves on the same level, like I said, there's so many ways to make the Democrat Party irrelevant. One is to recognize that no matter how black you are, no matter how white you are, no matter how Jewish or Muslim or Christian or trans or gay or straight, no matter what you are, at the end of the day, you have to live life as an American.
American.
And here's the thing: what would benefit you more? A shitty economy and specialized trans rights, or a good economy and you get equal rights to everyone else?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I say all the time too that First Amendment is so important. And when we were growing up, comedy was a way that everyone came together. I mean, everyone united around comedy. Everybody laughed at each other. It didn't matter. Everybody laughed at themselves. There was comedy. The second they started censoring comedy, you've lost it all. It's over. So now everybody's being censored. You make a joke or you make a sarcastic comment, and then all of a sudden you're public enemy number one.
Right. Yeah. Look what Gavin Newsom trying to make satire illegal. Right.
Yeah. I listened to AOC today. I made a video the other day about.
Can I show you guys a comment that I think is very indicative? So if you guys can see this comment, it says, Daniel Collins said, my mom taught me that race and gender shouldn't matter. And now we argue because she says it does matter. Drives me crazy.
Well, and it drives me crazy because around the 80s or 90s, the Democrats started to pull in intersectional theory out of Marxism and start to use it in their politics. And they're like, Okay, well, we're going to start targeting people by communities in order to get them to vote for us. So we're going to go to the Black community. We're going to go to the gay community. We're going to go to this and that community. And we're going to create specialized policies just for them to get them to vote for us. But in the course of them doing that, they have elevated it up the ladder more and more to where it has gone from us being about a nation of Americans, a nation of people united as one with a bunch of different backgrounds, to being, I'm a Black American, I'm a gay American, I'm a Hispanic American, I'm a whatever American. And it's through this use of intersectional theory, originally in the campaign sphere, which has now made its way into the policy sphere and into the schools, which has led to things like critical race theory and everything else, which is only pushing further division within our country and making people hate each other that much more. And that's really the only reason that they're able to succeed, is because of them pushing that division and allowing us to hate each other for essentially characteristics that we can't control.
Yep.
All right, guys. So just so you know, I'm going to keep this open for 5 more minutes, just because we've been live for 2 hours and 40 minutes. And here's the thing, we're going to do this much more often now that we got people buying it. I will tell you all right now, you can't see it on your platforms, but we have 3,818 people in here hearing this. So
That's
like, here's the
awesome.
thing, and I'll tell you, like, if we can continue to grow this, we did our debate live, me and Van Beard just talking shit on the debate, and we had 25, 30,000 people. But like, if we continue to grow this, we continue to hear voices online, and then political education doesn't have to hide the fact that he's vaping, because it's YouTube. You can vape on here. Stop trying to hide it. This shit ain't TikTok, right? So like, that's the thing, is like, I'm still on here saying grape and fucking pew pewing.
Yeah.
And
Pew
shit.
We're
pews
talking
and
about nerds,
unalive.
great. Hey, I
I
could
say it in
bust
real
out a
life.
cigar on here. That's awesome. I'd love to have a cigar.
No, do what you want. Like, that's the thing I love about this platform, guys, is that through this platform, because like when we do the next one, we're going to be on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, X, and Kick. So we'll be on 5 different platforms. You guys, I had to count that out. It's late, so I had to count it out. But we'll be on 5 different platforms, and every one of those platforms you can say whatever the fuck you want. And that's
Don't
the
you
beautiful
miss,
thing, is the
SK?
way
Don't you miss that, SK?
Do what?
Don't you miss being able to just talk like that?
Oh my gosh, people would
Yeah.
shit their pants if they heard me just like let go.
Yeah.
No, but that's the beauty of it, is that I want to bring back us being able to say whatever the fuck we want. Like, I'm gonna say a couple words real quick. Ready? These have nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I just love that I can say them. Ready? Rape, murder, shooting, killing, retarded.
Guns.
Yeah, or what is it? Trafficking. You can't even say the word trafficking. Like, come on, guys.
Hitler.
You can't say
Yeah.
elections. You can't say voter.
Yeah.
You can't say fraud. You can't say election fraud, voter fraud. You can't
Oh,
say
no.
electoral votes.
I am specifically going to hold a live on voter fraud, because
invite me.
fuck
Yeah.
all your platforms.
Yeah,
I'm on
and
board whenever you need me, dude.
we need a January 6th one too, because I want to educate the fuck out of some people, and we need some Operation Crossfire Hurricane ones.
Guys, I'll be honest with you. I would host these every other night if we got topics. If we got
I'd
people
be here.
join, I will,
I'd
because
be
like
here.
I'll tell you all right now, like let me tell you. So I had a massive, great gaming / streaming computer that I did everything on, and then it died. And then I went and bought this motherfucker, which is better than my PC I ever had beforehand. It's a laptop. And I want to host these all the time. So like what I want to do is I want to take the arguments that we have on TikTok that are heavily censored, heavily monitored, heavily reported. And I just want to say, hey guys, look, get your following to come over here. And here's the best part. By next week, I will have the platform set up that if people, here's the benefit. Like, let me ask you, SK, you host lives all the time.
Last night we had like 1.5 thousand.
Okay, cool. So you host lives. Now let me ask you, be honest, what is the amount of money that you make from gifts on that live?
Last night?
Yeah, last
Mm,
night.
I don't know. I didn't look, but the most I've ever made on one live was a couple $100.
Couple $100. So let's say you made 200. On here, they take 0.1%, whereas TikTok takes
Wow.
50%. So the way I want to set it up is that everybody who's on the panel, I can put your donation and your gift thing in the live. So if people want to donate the same way, rather than
Mhm.
you making 200 and TikTok making 200, you make 400. Or I'm sorry, you make 399. Right? And that's how I want to set it up because I want this to be the off platform. I want people to be able to come here and say whatever the fuck they want. Because I'm not going to censor them. I don't even know if I can mute y'all. Hold on, let me see. I guess I can. I can turn your volume down. Because I turned Anthony's volume down because for a little bit he was coming in at like 160 volume, and I was like, whoa, white boy.
That's just my voice. It's just the level of my voice.
No, get yourself a Yeti. These are lovely. These are
Yeah,
lovely. It looks
no.
like a dildo, but
Yeah,
it's
I got
lovely.
it, scammer.
There you go. But no, not the bottle, the fucking microphone.
Right. Yeah,
Oh, I'm
I gotta
talking
improve my
about
mic.
alcohol.
I got one of these too. We're fine. Mine's from my company. They gave it to me for free.
Just got a regular old Walmart one, I think.
See, there you go.
Soda
That's how we
Stream's
do
where
it.
it's at, y'all.
No, Soda Stream's phenomenal. How do you think I drink my tequila? It's fun. If you've never had carbonated tequila, you're fucking missing out. Let me tell you right
I need
now.
to try that now.
I didn't know
It's
they made
so
it.
good. Carbonate your tequila. It's fucking wonderful.
But hey, older millennial, I lasted 3 weeks in the creator fund. 3
But
weeks.
see,
They've already kicked you
I
out?
don't understand. I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you guys. Like, here's the thing. So I got into the Creativity Fund beta when it first came out. I was making $5 to $6 grand a month, and now I'm still in the what is it called? Creator Creativity Program or whatever the fuck it is. And I created a backup account. Here's what I've recognized is that the first 5 days you make a shitload of money. The rest of the month you're just eating shit, right? But here's the benefit. Now that I have my main and my backup together, I make $10,000 to $12,000 a month. And I'm about to start a third account because fuck these bitches. And I'm trying to get to 15 grand. Right. And that's the thing I found is that like a good example. In my first 5 days, I mean, I average probably 10 to 12 million views a day. And in that time, in the first 5 days of the month, I'll make 5 grand on my main, I'll make 3 grand on my backup, and then the rest of the month I'll make $10 a day. Because my RPM just goes whew,
They throttle it. Yeah.
Well, they don't want you to keep making. They don't want you to keep making over a certain threshold, I imagine.
Yeah,
and
but
I
see,
noticed when your views go up on the video, the RPM rate drops. I've
No,
noticed
that's
that.
right.
Yeah.
But again,
I
here's the
can
thing.
post-
I've recognized that if around the 30th of the month, if there's something that I know is going to go viral, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to wait a couple days. And I'm going to put it out on the 1st or the 2nd.
Wow. Yeah.
Well,
That's it. That's good info.
I'll tell you though, they have canned my views since I said Ketanji Jackson wasn't qualified to serve on the Supreme Court. I have not been able to get hardly any views, even if I created a new account because of that.
Wait, why? Because she's black?
I'm guessing so. I said that she wasn't qualified just based on her lack of judicial experience, and I guess they assumed it was because of her race. And I have been shadow banned since then.
I'm gonna give you a search to do and also say something controversial. There are currently 2 people on the federal appeals court who were appointed under Biden. Neither of them have ever handled a case beyond a traffic court, and they are on the federal appeals court. I'm not going to tell you who they are. I'm not going to tell you who they are. I'm going to let you search. But there are 2 judges who have been appointed to federal appeals court who have never handled anything beyond traffic violations.
Wow. We'll definitely be searching that up. And I don't know why I don't follow you, political education. I don't know why. But
I don't know either, but I'm going
now
to when I
now
leave.
we find out you're not even following political education. We
I-
well,
see
no,
I
I,
had-
don't know. The thing is, though, I think they have throttled him because I think I remember seeing his
Yeah.
videos, but I have not seen them for a long time. So
Yeah,
I just
I've
hit
been
you with the
throttled.
I
And
hit
by
you
the
with the
way,
follow, man,
for
because
those of you in the chat who said you can't do tequila, try carbonating it. I promise you, you can do tequila.
No.
Instead of
I'm
being
not.
drunk, you'll burp.
Don Julio is the best Blanco, in my opinion.
It's
But,
definitely not. It's definitely not.
It's
That
not?
Terramana is the best
Terramana?
tequila.
I like
Yeah.
1800 silver.
That's not bad.
There's nothing wrong with liking cheap shit. It's fine.
Oh man.
No, but it was really great talking with y'all. So here's what we're gonna do. Here's the thing. If we can find topics to do this about, I would love to do it about topics. So
I'll send you a list.
Yeah, send me a list. You got my number now.
Yeah.
So guys,
Don't
here's
give
the
it
thing.
to anybody.
Here's the thing, guys. If you guys do not have my number, DM me so I send you my number because I'm terrible at responding on TikTok, but your messages
Me
as
too.
my friends will pop up. Let me send you my number. Make sure you have it. I want you guys to have it. I want to make sure we're able to talk, but I will do these every other night and we can do this. We can say what we want. We can actually say all the words. Like we can say pew pew in the real world. We can do
Can we
all
call
the
somebody?
things.
Can I call somebody a cunt?
Absolutely. Here's the thing. If you guys want to see people get called cunts, follow me on X because I remember that I think what was it? Liz Cheney commented. And I said, "You stupid fucking cunt, you and your father should be in fucking prison for war crimes. Shut the fuck up. We don't care what you think." And all the comments were, "Jesus, tell us how you really feel." Because it was like because the beautiful thing is that on places like this, on X, on YouTube, maybe not YouTube, but here's the thing: if YouTube blocked this, go fuck themselves. I don't care because I don't monetize what I do. I mean, my account is monetized, but I don't care. Like the beautiful thing is that I censor myself when I'm on TikTok, and I love places like this where we don't have to. We can say what the fuck we want. We get now the dangerous thing is that if you're on here a lot, if you're on my stream a lot, you'll fuck up on TikTok. You go to TikTok and you'll say some words you can't say. But let me show you a little trick about TikTok. If you say something you weren't supposed to say on your own live, here's what you do. Immediately end the live. Go into your live recordings and delete it. And then start a new live. You'll be fine. Doesn't matter what they reported. They can't see it. You already deleted it. So if you ever say, but I just want to warn you, because if you're on my streams a lot, you're going to get used to calling people fucking cunt. And you can't say that on TikTok.
Listen, my username on my main account now, it's sk_dev_, but that started out as a backup account and my username was Mike Hunt Cake.
There you go. Damn right. Damn right. That's the way you do it though. But no, here, guys, you can say whatever the fuck you want. And that's the beautiful thing about this platform. Like I said, if we can find topics and people that will come join, I will do this every other fucking night of the week.
Well,
I mean,
I'll
we
send
got
you a list.
43 days
I want to
until
talk
the
about.
election.
I want to
yeah,
talk about
these
all
are
the
some
shit.
important days before the
I want to
election.
talk about all the shit we can't talk about on live. I want to talk about all the things it is that I research that we can't talk about.
Absolutely. Let's do it. You just shoot me the topics. We'll bring in the audience. Like I said, right now there's nearly 4,000 people in here.
That's awesome.
And then we'll set up positions so they can gift you. Make sure you guys are getting the same thing you're getting on TikTok, and we can be more popular than we would on that bullshit ass platform.
I just
Yeah,
want people to
I mean-
hear. I don't care about any of that. I just want people to hear the information.
I got you.
All like sounds like political. It sounds like political is, you know, like me and wanting to share all the information because people don't have time to research and read all these things and all these congressional reports.
I'm gonna be real. I'm not gonna trust political until I see him in a t-shirt. He's always got a collar. I don't think he's being real. He's always got a collar on.
He seems like a guy that rocks polo really good though. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I work in the political industry, so this is what I eat, sleep, and breathe. And
Yeah.
it's second nature to wear a collared shirt.
See, I just dip my toe in the political world, and when my toe hits the water, it screams "cunt." So it's the way to do it.
Hey,
Doesn't pe-
OM, you're gonna get us all in trouble when we go back on our own lives and we start just dropping the cunt word and we start saying guns and we start saying all the different things.
Well, I said you got to be careful. Like what we say on here, you got to still be careful on TikTok. But that's what I want to do. I want to open it up where the best creators from TikTok, the people who are restricted from saying what they want to say, get to come here and say whatever the fuck they want.
That sounds amazing.
That's amazing.
Well, I mean, I posted a video the other day, and I've been one of the early people that was on board with banning TikTok. I mean, just to be full disclosure. But after some of the bullshit community guidelines violations I've gotten this week, I'm really on board with banning that shit out.
I had a TikTok app because my kids were only like exclusively communicating with me by sending TikTok videos. And so I finally downloaded the app and then I deleted it. And then I downloaded it again. And I just found like political debate panels like in January or February. And I haven't turned back because I do this all day, every day anyway, and talk about politics and research and all of that. And when I found that you could actually talk to other people about it, I was like, this is my
And
thing.
let me say this. So to Lindsay Collins in the chat, she said, "Can we do a political Q&A one live?" I'll tell you what, Lindsay. So if these people are down, and I'll bring in other people as well, here's what we'll do. On Tuesday night, if y'all are available, on Tuesday night, here's what we'll do. We will do a political Q&A live where all we do is take questions from the chat and we answer them honestly as ourselves. We give you an honest answer to what we think. So if you guys would be down to seeing that, there's nearly 4,000 people in here. Give me a yes in the chat if you would watch something like that. Let's see what happens in the chat. Whiskey went down the wrong aisle. Yes.
Oh, we could actually drink and smoke on camera. That's just amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're going to have Anthony up here with some whiskey and a cigar.
Oh, no, I'll definitely bust out the cigar. For sure.
Wait, I got to give some love here. Midmo Smart, member for 2 months. Welcome to the team. Thank you so much. Great stream. I look forward to the potential of multiple weekly shows. Thank you, Midmos. Thank you. Midmos has been here from the beginning. Thank you so much, Midmos. You're awesome. Thank you, brother. But yeah,
I
so
didn't even know this
everybody loves that.
existed.
So if you guys are available Tuesday, we'll do a Q&A. We'll just open it up. We'll let people ask a question. They can ask a question of a specific creator, or they can ask a question of the chat, or they can say, we want to hear a response from these people. And we'll do that where we can do that. So be ready Tuesday night. We'll get ready. If you guys want to be a part of it, here's the thing. You guys already have the invite code. I'm not going to change it. So you guys can use that same invite code to come in, and we'll set it up so that when people ask questions, we can answer that. Now, I have to go because we're at 3 hours, 4,000 people. I love that there's 4,000 people in here, but I have to get off here. Otherwise, my engagement is at risk.
Yeah.
Like, she loves me, but she loves me like
tell her
I'm
sorry. Tell her I'm sorry about last night.
It's all good. No, she's amazing, but I got to make sure I show her some attention. She just flew back in today. So, but it was a pleasure talking with all of you. And we will absolutely at the latest, we're doing this again Tuesday night.
All right.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Adios. If you haven't, follow Political Education. I've already looked at some of his stuff, and it's amazing. SK as well. Mine is the same name, Anthony Court, KORT. I'm pretty much across all platforms.
Damn right.
I have two.
We all follow Political Education. You were the one lacking.
I don't know how. I don't know if I follow one of my.
I probably did on one.